warm in here.
No, let's start it on that. Let's start it there. Let's start it like, crikey, it's warm in here.
Crikey, it's warm in here.
Yes, hello and welcome to Heatwave 1998.
I'll be ready.
No, Bunko, put the chair down. Yes, hello and welcome to another exciting edition, Grapple fans, of the Lost Art of Wrestling Roundtable podcast.
Woo!
So Bunko can't throw kayfabe in there.
Yeah.
Because fuck you, that's why.
Kayfabe will come up later, don't worry.
Oh, I'm sure it will. James Cornette.
James B. Cornette.
Yeah, James B. Cornette.
I am, of course, your host, AXC, joined once again by the baddest man in podcasting, professional podcasting, even. He is a man who is a dazzler, still. Delivering audio bronze.
Who are you introducing here? Because it could be any three of us.
Well, if you let me finish.
I was going to say, who is this?
He's known as Daddy in all 50 states.
Again,
It's
we all three of us.
It's Billy the Boy Bunkle.
How are we doing?
See, there's the audio bronze again, folks. And in the corner to my right, he is a man who is also known as a Stowaway. From the Phoenix Pod and the Lost Art of Wrestle Box, it's Lewis Ogden.
Hello there.
How's it doing?
I's doing fine. Yeah.
Nothing offensive, nothing blue. Except Bunkle's t-shirt.
Your t-shirt's blue.
It matches your can of Foster's there.
And of course, the other voice you can hear, the man who is known as the Master of Boys. And also not a dazzler because he's not Daz. It's Mr. Anthony Dark.
Well, hello. I want it all, and I want it now. Thank you. Give it to me now.
Yeah, I can't really do it. Sort of like.
I appreciate the attempt, though. I really do.
Just sound like a cat being strangled.
Well, gents, this is the first roundtable we've done in the Corona era, shall we call it?
Yeah, I'd say so. Well, I mean, when it comes to sort of like the aspect of wrestling, it definitely is because, as I say, we've done our pay-per-view reviews in our collaborative efforts. But yeah, I think sort of like in a roundtable concept, this is the first time we've done it since the COVID-19 pandemic properly hit.
Definitely.
Well, shit.
Mm.
So what's been happening in the world of wrestling that you've been paying attention to, gents?
It's fucking garbage.
Well, thanks very much. Good night.
Well, to be honest with you, it's sort of like, I swear we did like I think it was an RAD podcast where they were talking about sort of like WrestleMania being at the Performance Center in Florida and it being held in front of no fans. And I can't remember who it was at the time. It might have been Morrison actually that was sort of like basically going on of the fact of, oh, I think you can have wrestling in sort of like in empty arenas. And I think the general consensus from the rest of us was just sort of like, yeah, I don't think so. And you know, I like to think that we've been proven right because, you know, wrestling is I want to say an art form, but it is a form of entertainment that needs that crowd interaction, that needs that crowd participation. Because I think without it, it's the equivalent of sort of like watching a music video without the sound at times, really.
Yes, that's a pretty good analogy.
Or sort of like, going to like a comedy gig or like a music gig and there not being a crowd there. Like you need, like, if with wrestling, you need like a crowd there to feed off the interaction, to feed off the emotion that they're giving, that in a whole sort of like adds to the product that's being presented.
I think the big thing that stands out to me is, like, I look at in terms of take Drew McIntyre's title run, for example. When he won the title, we all everybody who watched it was like, oh, that was a bit shit, wasn't it? Because he didn't do anything. But if that's happening in front of a live crowd, because it's big moves, because it's a big victory, the crowd would have gone mental for it. The crowd would have ate that up, because there's no crowd there. There's no emotion to it. It's just kind of like, oh, that was a bit shit. Do you know what I mean? That's and it's the same. I've found that with a lot of wrestling that I've watched where there's been no crowd. Again, say on the same WrestleMania pay-per-view, the tag team that's not a tag team ladder match, doing all these big moves and putting people through ladders and stuff, and it just felt awkward and out of place. But it's because there was no crowd.
For that as well, though, there was the fact it was like they did I think was it Jey Uso or Jey Uso, wasn't it, or was it Jimmy?
God only knows.
One of them, either way. And they did that bit where one of them like fell off the ladder and landed outside, but they filmed it in such a way where it's like, well, yeah, he landed on the crash pad.
Yeah.
But they fucked it up, so they had to film it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest with you, when you said sort of like, is it Jimmy or is it Jey Uso? It's like, I'm pretty sure it's the one that doesn't have like constant DWIs or DUIs, DWIs or whatever. But yeah, I mean, sort of like you think about like Drew McIntyre's like run as WWE champion. I mean, you can just look back at sort of the night he won the title, and it just being the case of just nothing. You felt flat. Nothing because you. I mean, like it's these kind of things are just sort of like, oh my God, this is a great big massive moment, but you're doing it in an empty arena. Like, I mean, to be honest with you, throughout this whole pandemic, I was just sat there thinking, and this goes to AEW as well, not just WWE, but surely it would have been sort of better in hindsight if they'd have just taken the product completely off the air, much like NWA did, much like New Japan did, and just sort of like, wait for, it to settle down that little bit more, and then you can come back in like 3-4 months' time and, just sort of like fresh perspective, fresh look, fresh way of just sort of like booking your company as a whole, and, maybe that had done sort of like more gangbusters. Because the thing is, lads, wrestling is at an all-time low in terms of popularity. Mm-hmm. People can talk about sort of like the new generation era and all this MacGuffins and all this sort of stuff. They're not posting record low rating numbers or record low like viewing figures or whatever, like we currently are at the moment. And the thing is with sort of like the Wednesday night wars between AEW and NXT, they're sort of like, they're all about, who can have the highest, viewing figures this week. Like I think this past week, AEW sort of like touched over 900 fans, 900,000 fans, and NXT was 753,000. Yeah. And they're acting like this is a great big massive deal. That's less than 1 million people watching wrestling.
Yeah.
Like if you go back to like start of the previous decade, that was at the very least sort of like in the 4 million bracket.
Yeah.
In terms of viewership. Like, it's scary. It's fucking scary.
Is that, or is that not because of promotions like NWA now, or people just go on YouTube to watch it. People can easily, if you have an Amazon Fire Stick like I do, just download the New Japan app, watch that on there. I watch AEW. In defense of AEW, they did record a plethora of shows. But so fuck off, you're smiling, going, oh, here we go. No, they did record a plethora of shows in prediction of this pandemic thing going on. And then they just put them out. And then when we were allowed to do live shows again, obviously they went ahead and they did them with their own roster in the crowd. And it was all fine and dandy. And they've been doing that ever since. They haven't been doing extremely shit shows like WWE have, which have been shitly written, poorly performed. You know what really made me fucking laugh, right? They put these big, massive, giant clear screens around the what would be the I call it the border. I call it the border for the sake of who the McMahons are friends with. We'll call it a border. And someone told me, I'm ready for this tonight. I'm ready. What made me laugh is, we always make sure our talent's social distance and all that. And they literally had the Street Profits dancing through the fucking crowd. And he was like, what the fuck are you playing at, lad?
And you have to realise this is coming from a company whose like main production manager, aka Kevin Dunn, who Jim Cornette always describes as being a bucky beavered motherfucker. Like, he's got like this potato chips. Jim, I find you tiresome. No, it's true. It's true. There is actually a video compilation on YouTube where it's just sort of like people, like somebody's taken like his Kevin Dunn impressions from all the YouTube shoots he's done and just sort of like splicing it together into one fantastic little video. I'll see if I can find the link in a little bit.
I'm still watching that after. I'm so watching that.
It's fantastic. It's fucking fantastic. But this guy who's been in charge of sort of like the production side of things at WWE for fucking years, basically just sort of like has a contributing factor to creative. People might not want to say that he doesn't, but he does. This is coming from the same man who, when they were looking at bringing sort of like a small amount of people back into recordings and stuff like that, fans into the arena, he was quoted as saying sort of like, that face masks weren't like mandatory, or it's like compulsory, mandatory.
Same thing, yeah.
Same thing.
Or just make up a lie and we'll say it's the truth. It's fine.
Well, yeah. Might as well, because that's what fucking WWE do.
Never let the truth spoil a good rumor. That's what I say.
Yeah. He just like WWE as a whole was sort of like of a case of, we don't want people. We don't want people who are going to be in the audience to be wearing masks because we feel that it has a. Excuse me. We don't think it gives a good look for our show. And if you want to come in wearing masks, you're not a real fan. What kind of fucked up fucking philosophy is that?
This is the same company that fired God knows how many people just to keep a record profit, not to keep a profit margin, not to balance the books, not to slightly break even, to keep a record profit margin. This is just what are you doing watching these shithouses? What are some people doing watching? There's WWE fans and there's pro wrestling fans. I genuinely think there's a massive divide there. Because let's be honest, if you love the sport of pro wrestling and you respect, I can see your fucking face, if you love the sport of pro wrestling and you respect what those guys and girls do out there, why the hell would you look to someone who fires people just to keep a record profit margin, that puts the talent at risk on a daily basis, and he's all in all a control freak and associates himself with, which is undoubtedly the worst president that's ever graced God's green earth? I mean, who thinks that and goes, yeah, but he has a good TV show. I mean, come on. I'll tell you who watches it. Americans. There you are.
Yeah. Well, WWE fans, for the most part, are great big fucking masochists because they've been putting up with the shit booking, the wrong people getting pushed, the good people sort of like not being given a push. They've been putting up with that shit for fucking years.
Shinsuke Nakamura's in a tag team. Shinsuke Nakamura is in a tag team. I could fucking scream, for fuck's sake. What are you doing? Come on.
Oh, that's
Sorry,
Nakamura's sort of like a two-way street, really, because he's sort of like treated his WWE run as just sort of like, this is just kind of like a nice little break for me. After the years and years of being in New Japan Wrestling and just basically having the shit knocked out of me, I'm just going to take things easy.
But who looks at Shinsuke Nakamura and goes, oh, we've got nothing for him singles, we'll put him in a tag team? Who does that? I'll tell you who does that. Someone with no creativity, no one who can think properly.
No, because the thing is, like, WWE is not booked for WWE fans. It's booked for Vince McMahon. Always has been. No matter what people want to fucking say. And, you can go back to, you can go back sort of like further than like the reference that I'm giving here. But, like, Vince McMahon truly thought that the best option that he had for WrestleMania 30 was a main event of Batista and Randy Orton, despite the fact that Daniel Bryan was the hottest thing in fucking wrestling at the time in God knows how fucking long. Like, they were going to, like, relegate him to sort of, like, a mid-card match with Sheamus. Like, they don't think.
They don't get it. They don't get it.
They're not thinking of the broader aspect. They literally just think, there's one guy, we'll push him to the moon, he'll be fucking Superman. The rest, doesn't really matter because we've got the one guy.
I know. To be fair, I know everything that you're all saying. And if we're looking at the WWE, the WWE has always been booked poorly. Yeah. And the big problem is there is no alternative. There is no true alternative. Before Ant starts talking about AEW, which is WWE
I was actually going to talk about NWA, but off you go.
Wait. But there is no alternative on a national TV station.
No.
There is no. So if you say, oh, well, ROH, they're with Sinclair. So you look at this Sinclair own ROH. Doesn't go out to as many homes in America as USA does, as TNT does. There is no true alternative because you watch AEW and you say, oh, well, it's a shitty production. All right, yeah, and it's basically WWE light. Your main stars are all guys who've come out of the WWE, except for fucking flip-de-doo idiots. Twinkle Toes McFingerbang.
I've never heard of him before.
So it's Fingerbang, Kenny Olivier, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought it was going to be Kenny Olivier, but I wasn't 100% certain.
Your top star is an ex-WWE guy who's Stone Cold Steve Austin light. Because he has shit matches where he has to have hardcore things in it all the time and it's just trash. So there is no true alternative. Your alternatives, if you want to look at, say, your New Japan, your NWA, something like that, then you're looking online. It's not the same.
They haven't got national syndication, really. I mean, sort of like, I think the problem is that for years, like, television production companies have literally just been based on the idea of just sort of like, we either want WWE or nothing.
Yeah. Well, you've got to look at the viewing figures again. AEW, say, talked about 900,000. You actually look at the swing on a Wednesday night. The swing is about 200,000 viewers. And it swings one way or the other, depending upon what's on what week. Raw, SmackDown are doing 2-3 million. There's a big difference.
They wish they were doing two. They wish they were doing 2 or 3 million, mate.
Yeah,
it's like
Raw last week was 1.7, if that.
Yeah, it's in sort of like at the moment it's in like the 1.6 to 1.8 million bracket.
Well, just because there's if that's their mindset of we're the only option of good professional wrestling on a major network, is that an excuse to put out a shitty product? Really? Is that an excuse? Because eventually, in another 10 years of time, they keep doing that and keep taking their position for granted. Someone else, and I'm not going to say it's AEW because it might be, it might not. It's probably going to be NWA the way they're going on. What would you rather? A free show on bloody YouTube? Get your Fire Stick on it, get you on your telly. It's fantastic. AEW, it's on ITV in the UK. I'm not going to buy BT just for the fucking WWE. I'm not going to buy BT at all, to be honest with you. No offense to British Telecom, but fucking else. By the way, Steve McManaman, you're an arse. Just want to get that out there while we're on the subject. But honestly, why would I go out and spend an extra 500 million quid to get BT Sport to watch a half-arsed product that I'm probably not going to like when I've got 2 free options of AEW and ITV and NWA on YouTube? Why would I bother?
Go on.
To throw my opinion in here, as going back to what Bunker was saying about like ROH like not been on, it's still on Sinclair in America.
I think so.
I don't know what Sinclair is.
I know it was like a cable broadcasting network or something, but like in America, it's a case of either you have X cable company, which is you get HBO and you get all that sort of thing, or you have your satellite company where you don't get HBO and you might get the channel that Raw's on or whatever and SmackDown. USA. This is how out of the loop I am. Like fucking.
Oh wait, no, SmackDown's on Fox now.
Yeah, so like, I think Fox is on like cable or something. So you've got like you'll probably get like both on cable or satellite over there. Whereas like over here, you've got Virgin Media or Sky or BT. You've got the option of you can watch more of SmackDown on Sky Sports or BT Sports, whatever. But going back as well, well you can watch ROH for free, the TV stuff on Fight.tv online. And of course, more and more people have got smart TVs nowadays where you can just stream an app or whatever, or a stick or whatever, like. But then going back as well to the wars, like remember when TNA tried to compete with WWE?
Yeah,
fuck them guys.
Well, more the fact it's like, more the fact it was like, yeah, we're going to compete, or we're going to be on Monday nights or whatever, and it's like, no shit, we're going to be on Wednesdays instead. And then they sort of quite quietly moved to like Friday nights when no one would watch them because it was like 2 a.m. Then they put on Pop in America, whatever channel that is.
It was the whole thing with TNA was basically Spike TV didn't want TNA to be using Vince Russo as a creative consultant, and Dixie Carter, who was the owner at the time, just basically said, yeah, it's okay, no problem, we haven't got Vince Russo on our books, whilst quietly hiring him as a creative consultant. And it was literally only, I forget who it was, I think it was like Russo was sending like a script to, he was meaning to send it to Mike Tenay, but he sent it to like a different Mike who worked for like PW Torch, and that's how the whole thing sort of like got. That's how the whole thing just got sort of like thrown out into the open.
Email correctly, what an absolute dick.
But like in terms of that, like there was always that thing of like, oh, WWE doesn't see TNA as competition because they're pulling in shit numbers, and it's like, oh yeah, this guy's been released in WWE, and all of a sudden they appear on TNA like it's some big surprise. Like it's kind of the same with AEW, but like the thing I read today before we came on was like, what's he called? Kurt Hawkins was like saying about how WWE was like trying to offer like astronomical contracts to keep people away from AEW.
On that note, I generally do not believe that it's just AEW that's the competition. I think it's everything else that's the competition. You look at all the options that pro wrestling fans have now, and unfortunately for WWE, they are not the be-all and end-all of wrestling anymore. It's not that you watch wrestling and it's WWE. You can watch New Japan. You can watch Ring of Honor, AEW, NWA. There's so many Impact Wrestling if you're really desperate. But you can watch... sorry. But you can watch all these different options. And unfortunately for WWE, they are not the be-all and end-all. They're really, really not. And even NXT now, it doesn't get it. NXT UK is just probably almost destroyed the UK wrestling scene, in my opinion. It was a way to keep the UK wrestling scene down. It was a way to suppress the UK wrestling scene. And I hope the boys and girls who are under that moniker of NXT UK quickly get out their fucking contracts and come back to ICW Progress or wherever they were in the first place, because let's be honest, they were sold a dream of being a WWE superstar and they've been shithoused on with mediocre shows in terms of
like ICW and Progress and stuff. So there's like the whole thing of like going back to the on-demand stuff. There's like that talk of they're going to appear on the network at some point. It's like when they put the Evolve special on. And they're saying there was that rumor going around for ages going they're going to do a £15 tier or $15 tier for the network where you're going to get ICW, Progress, WXW, Evolve, and other indie companies that might sign up to the network. But then like you've got like all these other ones where it's like Fight TV, you've got IWTV, you've got High Spots on Demand, and all these other little companies doing their own on-demand thing. Like so, you've like New Japan World as well. So you've got.
I'd rather pay for that to watch a half-assed product on a Monday.
Well, as Buncle find out having to pay for Mania.
You paid for Mania.
I didn't have the option.
Your financial choices,
It wasn't a financial choice. It told me I wouldn't have to pay for it, and then it took the money out of my account anyway.
Did you buy a fire extinguisher full of chocolate as well?
To be honest with you, I think it's like I think it only came out in sort of like the last week or something like that they've actually scrapped the idea of doing a tier system for the network. So
the guy whose idea it was, I think he's the one they let go recently. They've taken on some other new guy who's like the chief branding officer or chief something or other who's going to oversee like the network or something going forward. So
is ICW actually going to be on the network at some point or not?
Probably not now.
So why have they essentially sold their souls? Because what really fucking hurt me is ICW are a fairly good UK promotion. Let's be honest, they're very, very good. They have good stars, and I like the whole production thing. I like everything. And then I saw Triple H come out to one of their shows, and that showed me that you fuckers have fucking sold your soul to the devil here, haven't you? You really fucking have. And you know what? Fuck them for doing that. They didn't have to do it. To jump on the ICW
thing, I think they had the 15 minutes when Grado got big. Because, of course, like, Grado was their home star. And then, of course, like, Grado's sort of his time, he's had his time in the spotlight. And then the speaking out movements come out and all that sort of thing. But even still, like, Grado went off doing TV and stuff. Then he got on World of Sport.
Then he got on TNA.
Yeah, then he was on TNA. Like, and I think he popped up back in ICW, but I don't think it's lost its thingy a bit. Like, it's.
To be honest with you,
down to NXT UK. Sorry.
Despite like the only things you could really say that have had like a contributing thing to wrestling was like Grado for a cup of coffee, and then sort of like the resurgence of Drew McIntyre. Bar that, like, can anybody really think of like any significant moment where ICW just sort of like, you know, had an effect on the wrestling world.
There was only really like
Noam Dar was. I thought
Noam Dar got
was pretty cool.
start there, yeah. But it's now they kind of did the Insane Fight Club documentaries. They did the first one of them, which like really sort of got them into that sort of spotlight of popularity. Then of course it was all centered around this is Grado and this is this person. This is how we come up with our storylines and that sort of thing.
Madonna does his theme song. Listen to Madonna and sing Madonna. Idiot.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Well, then it's like the same with Progress, like because like they were both sort of alternate products. Like ICW was for the over 18s and Progress was for the strong style fans. But then both sold out to not sold out, but
they sold out. They'll just say sold out.
All right. Yeah, so they both sold out to WWE.
To be honest with you,
they went, Vince.
Think about it this way, right? The WWE, like, look at the WWE just bought. Is it Evolve that they just bought?
Yeah.
Tiny promotion. You're never going to see any of the product from that company show up on the network. I call it now, because what they will do is they'll take clips from that show where they're up-and-coming stars who have appeared there once upon a time have been, and they'll put it in a video package, this little clip, and you'll get about 15 seconds from them when they started there. Yeah, like they did it with
It'll be a documentary, won't it?
Yeah, but they did.
Footage courtesy of Evolve Wrestling.
They did it with AJ Styles when was it one of the WrestleManias or something? They showed a few clips of TNA. Yeah. That's what they'll do. They're not. You know, you say that okay, well they've sold out, and you know these little companies, which is what they are. They are little companies, have sold out, but they've got to make money somewhere.
They were making money. If they weren't making money, they wouldn't be worth investing in.
Evolve kind of went down because of COVID, to be fair, because they just couldn't. They lost loads of money from not doing Mania weekend.
Yeah, but just what I'm trying to say is, the WWE isn't going to these companies and saying, "Oh, look, we'll buy you out and we'll dissolve you." Yeah, they're giving them a boost of income for whatever tape library or whatever clips they can use, and then saying, here's a little boost of money, and it's how what they do with it is what's going on.
Oh, yeah, they got a boost, but like with ICW in Progress, there was a thing in the contract where it did say WWE could buy them out within the first 5 years of the contracts, and that no questions asked. If they so much chose to, they could have easily just gone, right, Progress, no more, we're buying you.
Yeah, but
why would you do that to your own company?
Because you make. Why do you start anything?
No, forget the make. I could. Yeah,
you start something because you want to make money.
I was about to say.
I've been doing to the arsehole across the pond.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ant, you're looking at it from sort of like the aspect of a wrestling fan. They're literally looking at it from the aspect of being a businessman and just wanting to make a quick buck. That's all they're thinking about, is just sort of like the here and there of making money as quickly and as much as possible. They're not thinking about, like, this is the whole thing of just sort of like, they're not thinking in the long term. They're thinking of in the short term and how much money they can get into their pockets as quickly as possible.
Yeah, at the end of the day, this is why fans running a wrestling company doesn't tend to work. Because we think one thing, we think it's all about this, and it's not. It's about it's a business, and you've got to look at it as a business. What these wrestlers are to you is a commodity. Yeah, and okay, you say that the creation of NXT UK is destroyed. It's destroyed, independent wrestling in the UK. Does that matter to Vince McMahon? Absolutely fucking not. He has picked up the any commodity he can in the UK, any wrestler that he thinks, people kind of like that guy. Oh, people kind of like that guy. And now they are pigeonholed as a commodity to him. They can still go out and work their independent dates if they want, as a fair number of them seem to do, but they get a boost of income because what they have to sell him as a business is their body, their work. yeah, and they get paid handsomely for it, and fuck everybody else because it doesn't matter to him. He'll pick up your tape library along the line for a couple of £100 or whatever it is, and that's it. It don't matter. That's why they kept going, oh, well, why don't they buy TNA? So they've got the tape library. Why would he pay to have it? TNA will go out of business eventually, and then he can pick up the tape library for peanuts in the bankruptcy proceedings.
People have been saying that TNA is going to go out of business.
Yeah.
And it still hasn't happened. They're still like literally. They're the equivalent.
As an example, I'm not saying it will.
Well,
they're the equivalent of sort of like the equivalent of the sort of like the guy that goes rock climbing without sort of like a harness on, and every time they sort of like slip off, he somehow manages to sort of like fingertips, just finger grip on that like little bit of a ledge that sort of like keeps him afloat. But he's just sort of like, there's no chance he's going to get to the top.
Well, getting back to the TV stuff, of course, last week on Raw, we were teasing the appearance from Shane McMahon, which led into Raw Underground.
Well, lazy, fucking useless cunts, Raw Underground. Well, greedy cunts are going to shoot them all with a rifle. La 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 la.
Shit, pal.
That was
Can that be the jingle? Please let that be the jingle.
A desperate attempt at doing something different for 1 week to grab ratings for 1 week to try and cause a spike.
It's back this week.
It's back this week, so it must have done better.
Essentially,
show then.
You didn't know this. Essentially, Raw Underground is the third hour going forward.
Look at his face.
Wow. So people must have tuned in then.
It got 100k viewer boost.
There you go.
150,000 more viewers, maybe.
Something like that, yeah. So for me, I think it's that thing.
It fucking worked.
Well, it's the thing of like, we'll get into the fact they play copycat in a minute, but
I'll start playing the noose now.
Send it this way, please. I'll give it to Shane. We can just hang him above the ring and just let him swing a bit.
He will kick our ass.
Oh yeah, but as like me and Lewis were discussing before the start of the Phoenix pod on Wednesday, it's like literally. So for those who haven't seen it, essentially it's like looks like a basement at the performance center, or the by like.
It's a great start. It's a great start.
It's pretty much like.
I love a dirty basement.
It's pretty much the area where like Edge and Randy Orton worked their way to in like in their match at Mania, and Shane played watched that match back there. I could use that area, and so they put a ring up with no ropes, and then gone. Here we are. We've got a fight club where there's no real rules, and it's like, oh yeah, we've got some 7-foot bloke who just like hit some guy in the stomach, and like, oh that's it, he's done. And then we're gonna cut to some dancers, then back to the ring, then back to dancers, then back.
Like, dancers.
Yes.
Yeah. It's sort of like in very, very, very early days TNA, where they used to have sort of like the random strippers just dancing in cages near ringside.
Think WWE ECW.
Yeah, with extreme expose.
Yeah.
But then even the dance, like Shane McMahon's walking around with a microphone, and even like two of the dancers like squaring up against each other, and Shane was like, "We'll let you sort it next week."
Yeah, it's fake. It's fake wrestling company.
Even Shane himself is like, "Oh, we've still got things we need to work out," and it's like, "Yeah, because the entire premise of it is, oh, there's no rules."
What the fuck is
that? There's clearly rules.
There's clearly rules. There's got to be rules.
Oh no.
The only reason there are no rules.
There's no rules, but there's a referee, and like he's got this guy, like I said on fucking on like Twitter, because like some other Twitter page tagged me and asking me what I thought. So I replied to them with it in a copy and paste of what I put on Facebook, which I'm going to find for you now.
What I also love is just sort of like the concept of just sort of like this stuff that we've got here on Raw Underground, it's real, which is just basically great big massive lettering saying that all the stuff that's going on in the performance centre is fake. Everything that happens here is real, which is just.
Yes, it looks shite, and
so wait. I'm trying to understand this. So, are you telling me that they're trying to redo the Brawl for All but script it? Because if it's real, the only real fighting that WWE have ever actually fucking done is the Brawl for All, and that was fucking garbage.
TDM, essentially, right? Shane O'Mac has watched Bloodsport from Mania last year and gone, I wouldn't mind doing that, but then they've had to throw the WWE mix into it, and they put what's he called from Viking Raiders in, Eric?
Yeah,
he's in it at one point. And he does like a single leg on some guy, like some jobber guy, like with no name. And then you can tell that he's working punches.
To be honest, and I mean this, and this is another very special Not Daz service announcement. Please stop. Stop the underground shit. We don't believe it's real in the ring. We're not going to believe it's real in your little basement, Shane. So please stop. And why are you keeping dancing in your basement? That's weird, pal. Don't do that.
I kind of hoped then you were going to do like Josh Groban on Nevermind the Buzzcocks, where he's like, tell people to stay away from your music, and he's like, yes, this is Josh Groban. And he's like, please do not buy your mother my CD.
Don't
buy
put dancers in your basement, because if something happens to one of them, you're going to be in trouble. I mean, historically, it's never worked out well. Also, don't put a ring in your basement. Not going to work out well either. Historically, it's not worked out well.
Well,
just keep your basement fucking empty.
I found
just
my
have a nice empty basement.
Right. So the review from last week, which I put on the Facebook page, was, whilst I like the trashy basement sort of setup, it's a blatant rip-off of GCW Bloodsport events and others that have done similar, albeit with WWE twist that fights have worked and they seem to end just because. Not to mention this Dabba-Kato 7-foot bloke seems to be a bit like Chong Li from Bloodsport, the Bloodsport film. Or if you've seen Enter the Dragon, it's Bolo Young. As I then said, it'll become interesting if they go with a proper Bloodsport style matches under similar rules or UWFI rules, which Paradigm Pro Wrestling recently used.
I can't help thinking WWE at this point is going, look at what they have. Let's try what they have. Let's put it on our show. I want what they have. I like the thing they have.
Right.
Plus, also, sorry, Bunkle. I just have to get to you because you mentioned like Brawl for All and just sort of like the fact that it was garbage. The reason it was garbage because they initially sort of like set it up as sort of like, you know, it's going to be like a real shoot fight, sort of like dealing with Bob. You know, there's going to be $100,000 at stake, and then I think it was like Steve Blackman that just basically said, so, like, if I wanted to take a guy's leg out, I'd just sort of like be able to, you know, do that, given that it's you know, an actual, you know, shoot fight environment. Despite the fact that they sort of like they pigeonholed Dr. Death Steve Williams to actually win the tournament, and sort of like booked it in a way that they were scripting for him to actually win the whole thing. It's like you can't like do a case of sort of like telling the boys it's a shoot and then trying to fucking work it, because you know, historically don't fucking work.
If you, I don't know if anybody else saw the Dark Side of the Ring documentary about the Brawl for All, and Vince Russo came out and said it's literally so somebody would knock out Bradshaw. I don't care what happened to any of them. I just wanted somebody to beat that motherfucker up.
I don't believe anything that boy says.
I think he's a complete and utter dick.
Bradshaw,
it shocked me if that was true.
Bradshaw, there's numerous stories about Bradshaw being like the sort of the backstage bully.
Yeah.
And there are also stories of Steve Blackman. He was trying to like rib Steve Blackman, and Steve Blackman apparently said to him, he's like, if you carry on, I'm going to knock you out. And apparently Steve Blackman, he tried to, and Steve Blackman, he's like trying to rib him, and Steve Blackman literally just turned around, hit him with like a flush kick on the jaw or something, and like knocked him clean out. Never got fucked with again.
Yeah.
But the interesting
and
thing,
that's how you solve your problems, people. Just kick people in the face. There you go.
Well,
don't do anything for you people.
To go one better, I got blocked by JBL on Twitter.
Oh, hello,
Because-
you. Off you go.
Right.
Tell us that story.
Oh, sit down if you're not already. You're in for a treat here.
No, we're all sit down. We're very unhealthy. Off you go.
So,
We're all definitely sat
essentially,
down.
it was about a year or two ago, and it was around May, June-ish, and Bradshaw sort of came out with this what he thought was a funny anecdote of, oh yes, we're at the WrestleMania after party, and I was at the bar and I was tipping at the bartender with $100 JBL bills. He was so ecstatic to be receiving these bills that he didn't even realise they were fake bills. And so I read it and replied, "What a cunt." 10 minutes later, I checked it again. You've been blocked by JBL.
Did
It was
you
like,
not
get
like
in.
Did you not like it, Coxy? Did you not
Nope.
like the nasty word from the mean man from all over the pond and everything?
Evidently
Did you
not.
like the nasty words? Oh, what a shame, the fucking cowboy cunt.
Not to mention as well with the brawl for all. The funniest story is that not only did Dan Severn get through the first round and dropped out because he's like, well, like
I have nothing left to prove.
yeah, I don't need to prove anything. I'm the UFC champion. Not only that, but they paid Steve Williams the prize money in advance.
Yeah. This is before the tournament. It's like,
I didn't know that.
yeah, because I think like Bob Holly's wrote in his book, who's sort of like he was in the trainer's room after Bart Gunn had knocked out Steve Williams. He was sort of like getting, looked over by the trainers, and they'd literally just turn around to the doctor. He's like, I don't know what they're going to do because they've already paid me the $100,000 of the prize money.
Fuck me.
I could just kind of see Vincent and he's like just sat there on the couch and like, so Steve, could we have it back?
Fucking hell.
Well, as Honky Tonk Man would probably tell you, man, it was the Attitude Era, man. It was a different era back then. You probably get away with it.
Well, as I went to a convention, full of I posted on Twitter before, as of course, sort of going slightly off topic. Kamala passed away this past weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was at a convention with him, and I posted a video on Facebook where he sang for the Q&A audience and that. But also in that room was Road Warrior Animal, who I spoke to prior, who had one of the very heavy old Attitude Era tag belts that I got to hold and nearly wanted to steal because it's one of my favourite belts. And I just said to him, I was like, "Can I ask you a question, mate?" And he's like, "What's that?" And I said, "How did you get the belt?" And he's like, "Oh, well, they sent Hawk off. Like Hawk was off. He'd done some drugs or other, so they sent him home. And then I wasn't used on TV, so we had the belts. And I just told him one day, I was like, yeah, Vince, I lost it. And that was
gold.
that. Oh, for fuck's sake. And me.
Not to mention, though, as well, speaking of belts, is like Enzo, well, formerly known as Enzo Amore, is walking around with the
Little
cruiserweight
so.
because
Little
he never
so.
gave it back.
Fucking hell. So basically, what we're saying.
Cruiserweight champion. Whoa, is this thing on?
So it's not brawl for all, but it's worked.
It's
and
essentially it's not brawl for all, it's not blood sport.
It's not wrestling.
It's
And it's
a
like-
staged blood sport.
It's a staged blood sport in a Fight Club environment.
Yeah,
I think is how I described it. last
Literally
time.
hurt my brain thinking about it.
they're trying to mix so they're putting in like WWE stars who like want to fight and all this sort of thing, or like as Shane sort of touting it. It's like a way for people to like settle their arguments and stuff. Because like
Is
they had
that
Eric,
what the fucking ring in the actual arena is for?
Exactly.
Or
they
am
had
I
Eric-
just being incredibly
not-
stupid?
It's not
They
what
had
a
Eric-
feud is.
they had Eric from the Viking Raiders, and they had this Dalba Kato guy who's like 7 foot, and then I think they had Dolph Ziggler on it as well at one point, and then this week they've got Shayna Baszler.
Why?
To be honest with you guys, I can form an opinion, but the only clip I saw was somebody clipped, like, I think it was the first fight that was literally probably like 1 minute 26 seconds in length, and it had like 56 camera cuts in that period of time. Whereas I could probably show you sort of like because I recently watched the Jon Moxley Minoru Suzuki match again, and like I'd made a note, sort of like the last 90 seconds of the match, and I think in total there was maybe 6 camera cuts across the 90 seconds. So 56. Yeah. Which one? Which match?
I'm actually watching this in good detail for the first time in because I don't watch WWE anymore. These 3 nice ladies who have just what the fuck? The 3 ladies obviously have got literally no else to do. Let's be honest. God bless them. What the hell is this? It honestly looks like something out of like Fortnite. It's awful. What is this?
They've gone full
what
2K20.
Is this? Honestly, this is my first time watching it. I'm giving you literally a live reaction. You should all be blessed. I get what if this. I love how the fighting's going on. The girls are still like gyrating in the background. Brilliant. Like nothing else is going on. What the fuck is this? Oh.
To be fair, the problem I watched clips of it on YouTube. Like there was a 2-minute clip, and it just reminded me of the old Spice advert with the guy who was like, "No, ladies, look at your man. Now back to me. Now back to your man. Now back to me." That's the camera cuts in.
Look at your wrestling. Now back to me. And back to the wrestling. Now back to me.
Oh no!
You think you should watch better shit?
It's look at the ring. Now look at the dancers. Now look at the ring. Now back to the dancers. Now back to the ring.
It was like no tells. They were still just giving it big uns in the back. That was so funny.
I'm kind of waiting for someone to turn it into a meme of like, I got tickets to that thing you like. It just pops up Raw Underground. It's like no.
Oh god, me chest hurt. Me chest hurts.
Oh, you just have that clip from King of the Hill, just sort of like, we drove 2,000 miles to see this.
Oh,
but it's kind of like what's the other like meme? It's
one
like,
of them's wearing a fishing net for fuck's sake. What's she got on it?
You're putting like in terms of Simpsons, you're putting like Bloodsport as like Bone Storm, and Raw Underground is Lee Carvalho's putting challenge. Right.
Bloody hell, Jeff Hardy's had a bit of a workout, hasn't he? Hellfire.
Yeah, that's Dabba Kato.
Hang on, Dabba
Kato.
Oh, honestly, Vince McMahon's going to make him come to the ring and start dabbing like that. Honest to God, see it coming. You've heard it here first. Honestly, what the hell is Raw Underground? What the hell is... That's the maddest shit I've ever seen.
To be fair, I'm kind of hoping they make it so he can't speak English, so someone can try and make him break character.
The louder you scream, the faster the ride goes. Dabba.
Where's on?
It's a 20-foot cock and balls, man.
He was asthmatic. Put him in penine suite. Why? Because in here's murder. Next door's natural causes.
Oh no!
And that's what we say to Vince when he eventually cocked it.
It's like Raw Underground. It's like there's just someone there, and it's like just lying, like they've just been like laid out, and it's like he was asthmatic. Yeah, that's right. He had that. Put him in performance centre. Why? Because then here's murder. Next door's natural causes.
Can we start a hashtag Vince into the penine suite or something like that? Vince for penine suite. Yeah, that trending. Don't forget to hashtag it. Yeah.
If you're gonna do it like WWE-esque, just sort of like put him up in performance centre. Why? Because down here's murder. Upstairs natural causes. Come on, shift him up. Get him out of the basement.
Michael Cole just walking over going, time, cock.
Gets up to me.
Like,
Whoa, Vince, what have you got here? Am I eyes deceiving you? You got two of my wrestlers singing Acapulco. Come down. Hey, okay? You know what I'm saying, lads?
That's what Tony Khan said when Sammy Guevara started singing Fozzy.
Oh, that was
it's one of my wrestlers singing.
That was bare jokes, though. That was bare jokes.
I was going to say sort of like, Michael Cole's coming up to Vince McMahon. He's obviously sort of like that. It's like, come on, Vince, ship or cock. Waits and his dentures fall out, and he sort of like doubles back and he goes, oh my.
No, it's the John Smith advert where Peter Kay tries to put his mother in a home. That's what it's going to be like.
Why? You're going to put a snooker table in your room and your kids are now come on, Avanti.
Oh dear.
We were talking about wrestling, weren't we?
Yeah. Well, we were, but
So yeah, Raw Underground is such good shit.
Good shit, pal. Such good shit.
Half a bottle of whiskey, anything's good shit.
Hey, we might even get that MMA demographic in that we've been searching for, pal.
Oof.
Which...
Bring Fandango and Tyler Breeze in. Okay, get this right. You're fashion police. You're gonna love it. Yeah.
Yep. Pretty much. That's how Vince McMahon operates.
Like a fucking...
Well, I believe you have a special talent, so if you wouldn't mind... he's gonna do it. He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke.
He's gonna puke.
Bunkle's looking on worriedly, like.
Bunkle, are you okay? Let's stop. Let's stop. Bunkle, are you all right, mate? Let's talk to us. Unload some shit. That's what we're here for.
He's like, they're not discussing Magnus, not discussing NWA, so.
How's Camille? Is Camille okay? Talk to us about Camille.
As far as I know, she's all right. Yeah, she's.
Come a chameleon. There we are.
But yeah, no.
I'll think of a second verse.
It's not wrestling, is it? So I'm just like, yeah, no, it's not for me.
When was the last time you heard from her? Because given who she's with, it's a bit cause for concern, really.
You're telling me spelling Tom wrong. It's Tom, not THOM. The bloody idiot.
It's a hom.
You're Tom, not Fom. Fuck me. Oh God, some women never learn.
Any other?
I don't know all the answers. I'm just here to give advice.
Any other wrestling-related topics or news, gents?
I wanted to sort of like get onto the hypocrisy of one Mr. Christopher Jericho, because very recently, over this past weekend, he decided to hold, for the first time in a long time, a Fozzy concert. Now, who is going to a Fozzy concert? I don't really know. Okay, maybe Anthony, but, other than that, I don't really know. And it seems to me that he has the same outlook on the COVID-19 pandemic as WWE does, because there is a photograph that's been, snapped and obviously put online of, Fozzy doing their performance and, it being a concert. There's fans there in attendance and they're not adhering to any social distancing rules, no face masks or stuff like that. I just want to point out the hypocrisy because I do remember sort of like, someone, it was a post with sort of like the hashtag of Black Lives Matter. And, Chris-Jericho replied to this message by using the hashtag All Lives Matter. And I just think it's quite hypocritical given what went on this past weekend.
On top of what you just said, a recent statement from Chris Jericho regarding the criticism of the concerts that he's literally just put out. He and I quote, sound like Michael Cole. Ooh, I'm important. The venues are either outside or they are half capacity. We are sold out tonight in Minot. What the fucking hell's that? With, I think, 50% capacity. Last night we were sold out in... just start spelling your fucking cities with proper pissing names, America. Hellfire. Jesus Christ. So see you. Oh,
Sioux Falls.
Thank you very much. There you go. So, of course, we cross over to our French correspondent, Adam Cox. So, of course, with I think it was 35% capacity. Jericho stated, "We hand out masks at the door, do temperature checks, all that sort of stuff. We basically just stay on the bus all day, and everyone in the Fozzy camp, crew, and band has been tested or have been tested." Learn to fucking talk. Yeah, so that's kind of how we're doing it. Everything's been good, been going good. It's been so great to be back on stage again. And he posts this lovely picture of him in a mask. Now, regarding my thoughts on the global bastard, thank you, What Culture, for that. No, you're not getting any royalties, piss off. It's a tad irresponsible, isn't it?
Just a bit.
And that's my way of saying it's quite a lot irresponsible, isn't it? Him being quite an important part of AEW, currently in a rivalry with one of his favourite wrestlers, who we'll get onto later. I'm pretty much sure of it regarding the thing I'm holding in my hand. I think it's a silly risk to take regarding what his main job is. I know at some point we've got to get fucking hell. Is that someone ring a bell round one hellfire? Who's got Christ?
I had a pen on my desk. It fell off.
I know at some point
we've not even got into discussing who we'd have in our particular promotions yet. Surely that.
Oh, I'm getting fucking.
That'd be appropriate.
Well, I will say I'm a very strong AEW fan. I watch AEW every week, and I absolutely love it. But I think that's quite a stupid thing to do from him. In my, I think that's quite stupid.
Yep.
I know at some point we've got to get back to some form of normality. I don't think now's the time. And I think he should have focused on what he's doing in AEW rather than putting on concerts for like that. It completely unnecessary. Yeah, I don't like it, and that's coming from me who worships the man. I worship that man. I think he's the greatest wrestler of all time. End of. Yes, I think he's the greatest wrestler of all time. However, I will not.
It's fine, mate. It's fine, mate. You're entitled to your opinion.
Everyone must love someone.
Yeah.
Wow, that makes me sound really lonely.
As Bunkle said, it's Magda Shrine.
But you made me sound really lonely there. I promised they're all my friends. Promised. I have friends outside of this, you know. No, I don't. Well, of course I don't have friends outside of this. I'm a fucking idiot. No. Yeah, I thought it was really, really stupid, to be honest. And you can say you're doing temperature checks and you're handing out masks, but let's be honest. I guarantee you at least 2 or 3 people are rubbing ice on the forehead before the bloody getting the temperature checks. And every time they're getting those masks handed out to them, they're chucking them away on the floor. They're not wearing them. I thought it was stupid, and I worship the man.
I'm sorry. It is fucking stupid. I mean, I've had been tested for COVID-19, and if you want to do it properly, it's a swab right to the back of your throat, and then you take said swab and stick it as far up your nose as you possibly can and wiggle it around for 10 to 15 seconds. That is the test for COVID-19.
That's how I met my wife, that.
But,
oh, no, move on.
I'm sorry, what?
God,
But yeah, I think it's irresponsible. What you've got to look at it in the fact that it's irresponsible for him, yes. It's irresponsible for the band, yes. Does he still want to make money? Yes. Are these people stupid enough to go? That's not his problem.
More frantic. They can't live in a place they can fucking pronounce.
Right, I'm not. This is the problem. Now, don't put like 5 vowels together. It's ridiculous. Fuck me. It's Carol Vorderman be tearing the fucking hair out of these people.
I'd love to see you going to like Canada, like especially the French part. Like I'm going to Saska.
Oh no, I went to Wales last summer, and fuck me, do they not go off mad with the L? Jesus Christ! It's like they panicked and had an L. It's like you know what?
It's more a case of like I'd love to see you going to Nova Scotia.
It was like we went to Pwllheli, not an F in there. There's not an F in Pwllheli. There really isn't. Last time I checked, there's no fucking F in Pwllheli. Like, what are you doing with yourselves? Like, put an F in there so I at least know where I'm going. Because I'm not going to Pwllheli. I'm going to Pwllheli. Shit me. Sorry, I'm just having to go into Welsh there. But you do go mad at the L's, lads. Just fucking calm it down. Jesus Christ. They're horrible to play at Scrabble as well. Jesus Christ.
Particularly if you're dyslexic as well, otherwise you're fucked.
I think dyslexic people come from Wales. Looking at the way they spell shit, hellfire. Cymru. Cymru is spelled C-U-M-R-U. Where's this Y coming from? Y in there. And people laugh, and I'm the weird one for thinking that. Cymru. Cymru, C-U-M-R-U. If my wife's about to come home from work any minute, if she hears me shouting Cymru, honestly, spell Alva said. Stop all this adding H's and L's and fucking hellfire.
Oh,
anyway,
dear.
here we go.
Ooh.
Anything else to add, gents, or any other topics before we move on to Bunkle's? Bunkle's.
Well, no, that's where I want to get.
I thought it was going to be sort of like Bunkle's problem with like posing for photographs.
Give us some headshots. Give us some headshots. Doesn't it look like Vogue out of Gladiators? Interesting fact, Vogue follows me on Instagram. Wow, that fucking killed the podcast, didn't it? Fuck me. I'll keep me random.
I probably would have reacted if I knew who Vogue was.
Vogue, she was a gladiator in the 90s, up with Lightning and Jet. You should know who Lightning and Jet are.
Yeah, I know who Lightning and Jet are.
What's for that hellfire? Jesus Christ.
Seriously,
one of them lot.
If you know Jet, it's like she's the other one. That's not the other one.
Which is it now? Now you either know Jet and the other one is Lightning, or you either know Lightning and the other one is Jet. You can tell a lot about a man by which way he goes here.
So, speaking of gladiators, how's Magnus Bunkle?
Yeah. What was his gladiator name, Bunkle? What was his gladiator name? Ooh.
It's just Brutus Magnus, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. No, when he was in Gladiators with Ian Right.
Oh.
Yeah,
right.
What was his gladiator name, Bunkle? Because I know it. Do you know it?
I said it. It was Oblivion.
Yeah, very good. Love that. Oh, I knew he knew it.
I thought you were talking about like when he very first came into TNA and he literally came out dressed as Russell Crowe from Gladiator.
Yeah.
I was just sort of like, oh, right, okay. I'm pretty sure it was Brutus Magnus.
Father to a living son. Husband to a very attractive wife. And I shall wrestle my ass off.
It's the kind of thing I see Bunkle doing. Like, if he was at a convention, like he just sees Nick Aldis stood there, Bunkle just walks over, just kneels, and he's like, "Father." That's what Nick Aldis is like, "Son."
It's like what I'd do if I met Simon Miller from like What Culture, because let's be honest, there's some fucking similarities here, can't you say?
To be honest with you, you have to remember sort of like Bunkle is going to this convention that Nick Aldis is at, dressed as Jim Cornette, as he was seen in sort of like, a new generation era. So like
Your match made in heaven then, isn't it?
Bunkle's gonna have like Bunkle's gonna have a red suit jacket, black slacks, a tennis racket.
Yeah.
Where is this convention?
Whacking people in the crowd.
Sweating.
In fact, no, he can be in Zubaz pants with a tennis racket and walking around with racist as fuck.
As long as people understand the joke, it's fine.
You can carry a cardboard cutout New Jack around with you.
Oh, now you're just asking to be stabbed. Where is this convention? Let's know at which city. What are we talking?
I've no idea, but the day Bunkle, the day Magnus is in the UK, like, you can guarantee Bunkle will be there, like, front row, just, like, attentively listening.
Any minute now. I'm going to be able to meet him.
I don't think it'd be that bad. No, I did.
We'd have to go just to stop him getting a fucking restraining order. We'd have to go to just calm him down a bit. We'd wheel him up like Hannibal Lecter in the.
To be fair, I'd like it to be like
of people like this. Yeah, I've met Nick Aldis' wife. It scared the shit out of me. I'll be honest, because dear God, she's beautiful. But I was all right.
Mickey James, if that's all right. Mrs. Aldis. Mickey Aldis. Has a nice ring to it, that. Maybe she should leave the WWE and come to NWA and kick Camille's ass. Oh, that would be a good conundrum for you, Bunk.
What?
Camille or Mickey James. Here we go.
You see, to be fair, I've had an infatuation with Mickey James since she came onto the scene. So I can't go against my girl there. Just saying.
My girl.
Just saying, when she did the licking action through sort of like the V's, that sealed the deal for him.
That was fucking gold. Got it.
I can see you look at Coxy's face going, I'm going to edit a lot of this.
This recording will sort of like be condensed down to about 55 minutes, I would think. Yeah, sounds about right.
We've been talking for about an hour and a half. about 30 minutes is probably usable.
Not even 30 minutes.
I'd say more than that.
What the fuck were we talking about?
Are we going to move on? Are we moving on to our lists?
Yes. The lists!
Lists! Everybody loves a list.
Everybody loves a list. So does anybody want to explain sort of like the context of the list, given that I'm sort of like Skyping through my phone and I can't get the image up?
Funky off you, it was your thing.
Me do it. Right. So,
yeah, you do
it. Where'd it go? There you go. So, something popped up on one of the many wrestling groups that I follow, mainly to insult AEW fans.
I was deeply insulted.
And yeah, so what it says is you start your own promotion and you have enough money to start off with, whatever that means. So I looked at it as though, I'm not Vince McMahon, but I've got a fair whack. You know what I mean? So, and it says you've got 10 male wrestlers, 5 women wrestlers, 4 tag teams, and 2 legends. Who have you got? So I think the way we were going to look at it is kind of like, we'll go through, we'll do male wrestlers, then we'll do our female wrestlers, and we'll go through it,
section
by section. And we'll, if you want to give a bit of a reasoning as to why you've chosen them, then that's entirely up to you. If you don't, then I understand that.
I'm getting fucking rinsed here.
Depends who you've got on the list, mate.
Oh, can I have a guess?
That's what I mean. Go on.
What is AEW?
Hang on. Can I count my AEW stars?
If Ant wants to start, he can start.
And is your middle name begin with E? Because then you could literally be at AEW. You could be at Ant something wrestling, but
Antelite Wanker. I don't know.
Also, guys, like from sort of like the males that you've got on sort of like your list, sort of like probably lead with sort of like the guy who would be the number one in your company. Yeah. So like your top boy.
Right. Okay.
Top boy in your in your.
That's made it harder. And the list is. I was going to make a horrible joke. Right. Okay. Kazuchika Okada, number 1.
Okay. Yeah. Understandable.
Wow. Okay. I've not pissed anyone off yet. Number 2. Coming in at number 2. Finn Balor.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Number 3. Kota Ibushi.
Okay.
We'll start ticking these off because knowing me and whatever condition I have. What have I said so far? Right, I've mentioned 3. Right, okay, good. Number 4.
In 4.
Tetsuya Naito.
It's understandable. He's your favourite wrestler.
I do love that man. Charismatic, good in the ring. Oh, God, just get him on my telly.
Is it me?
Why did I think of that?
I'm gonna go with Zack Sabre Jr. next. Wow, I didn't like that. Adam Cole.
I nearly thought you were going to say me then. I was quite disappointed.
No, it would go by your ring name. Who was going to say you?
Yeah.
Oh. 7 MJF.
Ooh.
Yeah, understandable. Just probably needs to sort of like work on his ring a little bit, but in terms of being a great big massive heel,
I do like him. I think he's one of the best heels because he pisses you off, but it's like a Roddy Piper sort of figure. He pisses you off, but you love him at the same time. It's weird. I do love his character. Number 8, Kenny Omega.
Ooh, now that's probably the first controversial one.
I can see Bungle breaking out his sweats at these next 2.
Bungle's just ripped his shirt off. Right, number 9. Oh.
Are you kidding? It's got Magnus on it.
Number 9. Oh, this is gonna. If number 8 pissed you off, number 9 is gonna. Darby Allin.
Oh God.
I see. I don't mind Darby Allin.
I like that look he's got. I think that's really cool, and I think he's a good wrestler, and he can do the extreme wrestlers. But I think he's brilliant. And
he
number
doesn't weigh
10,
150 pounds, soaking wet with a brick in his pocket.
Number 10.
Say the same thing about Zack Sabre Jr., to be honest with you.
Number 10 was up until 5 o'clock today, Drew McIntyre. However, number 10. As of 1 minute past 5.
Yeah. I think I know what's coming.
Is Orange-Cassidy.
Oh my God.
Please give me a chance to defend myself. Please. God, I sound like I'm being put up for something really bad. Please let me defend myself.
Do you know what's really, really sad? You had like a pretty decent list going on. I thought, Jesus, Ant's actually built a company that people could watch. And then he goes,
I love how you like
toes
like I'm the retarded one.
My little dog pockets. What?
The thing with Orange-Cassidy is
he's a jobber.
No, he is actually quite a good wrestler. But his gimmick makes the fact, even though he's he's good, he's not the best, probably slightly average if I'm going to be very honest, but because of his gimmick, it makes his average wrestling look good. if you know what I mean. Because you don't expect him to do it, so you get the pop when he does a simple fucking tornado DDT or something. I think that's the genius behind his character. You don't expect it to happen. And he's built up like a fucking idiot, like a jobber, like a slob, like someone who can't be arsed, and then he goes out and does it. And it's like, whoa, holy shit, look what he can do. It elevates his whatever he can do to a whole new level. The Zack Sabre Jr. one is the one I'm still iffy about. Because I
think the problem with sort of like Orange Cassidy is sort of like it was a unique gimmick to an extent when it first began broadcasting, but it's a gimmick that gets very old very quickly.
It's indie as fuck. It is just mud show garbage. No offense.
it's got over. It's not
over.
It is over. Do you not see about it? Did you not see him? Oh fucking hell, we're going off here.
Did I not see him? Why?
I'm gonna mute my microphone. I'm gonna mute my microphone and just let you two go at it.
Oh, he actually has as well. Oh, he actually has.
I'm sorry, but it's oh god.
Coxy's done it as well.
I'm sorry, right? But it's not wrestling. It's
But
fucking.
he can wrestle, which makes his.
What can he? Right. I tell you what. I'm assuming he's a babyface. I have no fucking clue.
Yeah, because you don't fucking watch it, so that's the picking point.
No, that's not the point.
You don't watch.
What do I need to watch about some orange juice being dropped on Chris-Jericho and him going, hey, and they're going, cut the fucking mic, someone go to a break. What is there to watch?
Just watch the fucking debate he had with fucking Chris-Jericho. It was amazing.
Fucking wrestling.
Hilarious.
Fucking wrestling.
You want to know about global warming, pal? Get on it.
We broke Punkle. Literally, you should see the fucking.
and that's how you win an argument, everybody. Simple. What?
My computer, fuck's sake.
If you want evidence of how powerful I am as just an entity, as Not Daz, I've broke a computer.
The problem is now that the next pubcast, and partially expecting you to just turn up with Orange Cassidy and Bungle just be sat there and thought, oh, for fuck's sake.
No, he'll come dressed as Orange Cassidy. Because, like, to be honest with you, it's probably one of the easiest.
Have you seen me fucking hair, pal? Fucking hell. I'm not coming as anyone other than Stone Cold Steve Austin. Take me.
I was just going to say, if you had a problem with just sort of like the hairline, I've got one word for you.
Problem with the hairline? I've not got a fucking hairline. Problem?
Say hairline. I didn't say hairline. I said hair.
To be fair, the fact that like Bungle got so irate to that as well, I was kind of thinking like, how are we doing go full Benoit here? I'm like, they best not to kill the wife and spoil it all.
Oh.
Here is, kids. Don't argue with me. I'll break your computer. Right, next.
Yeah, the problem now is though, I'm fully expecting like Bunkle to be at the bar because like you'll be like texting me or Lewis or whatever, going, send Bunkle to the bar now, send him now. You'll just walk in dressed as Orange Cassidy and walk in and start like kicking him in the shin. And Bunker will be like, what are you doing? This is not wrestling.
I might just be wearing my usual double denim. We don't know, do we? I mean, I quite like wearing double denim in the winter months. You know, it keeps everything quite secure up around there. Everything's cushy. It keeps the warm air in. Double denim, way forward. Learn your lesson, shithouse.
He's not amused. I can just fucking tell.
Well, if I want to smile sometimes, and I like to laugh. I was also threatened that if I didn't put Orange Cassidy in there, my wife would string me up by my fucking toenails. So he's made it into 10th. Have her
make a list then.
To be honest with you, she sort of, mate. I asked her to go over this list and she went over the women, and it honestly looked like I'd rather vomited on my piece of paper rather than wrote any ladies' names down than anything else. So guess what's coming in the ladies section?
Right, Uncle, do you want to go next, mate?
Can someone else please go? Because I'm feeling really insecure.
Yeah,
that's fine, because I'm about to get slated as well.
Damn fucking right you are. You could have the same list as me, and I'll fucking rinse you.
Can I try and guess your number one?
You're more than welcome to.
Heath Slater.
I was going to say someone more damning. I was going to say, is it Nick Jackson?
Moose.
No. It is
Baron Corbin.
Can I guess?
Baron Corbin.
Possum King.
Is it the Possum King?
Go on. No, it's not Possum King.
Is it Fandango?
It's not Fandango. So
James Ellsworth.
Definitely not. There is no paedophilia on my show.
Why did you have to say that?
It is, isn't it? Oh, sorry, he was accused. Coxy can cut it in post, it's fine. Anyway, my list. Number one, as everybody's probably guessed, is Nick Aldis. He carries himself like a champion. I'll tell you why I came to this decision. I did some research. So, in 159 seconds of a Nick Aldis promo, I knew NWA was what I wanted to watch. The very first promo Nick Aldis did on NWA Power sold me on that show. I watched 7,200 seconds of AEW.
Why you shouted the seconds? I've watched 7,000 seconds. No one ever says that. No one has ever said that ever. I've watched 7,000 seconds. People just put it into minutes.
I'm just saying, if you like it in minutes, I watched 2 hours.
I'm gonna be sick.
But I just thought I'd use the same increment of time.
7,000.
Just to prove I gave it a chance. So
Bunkle's gone full Freddie Blassie with his time bit. Time!
Oh, God, I feel ill. It's the 7,000 second things that's fucking thrown me.
That might be the title of the episode yet, 7,000 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, please.
So, then
going.
I haven't kind of numbered them, but I'm going to try and do it as we go along. So, my number 2 guy, Roman Reigns. Because at the end of the day, he's got the look. I don't like the fact he punches a pad when he comes to the ring, but I'd stop him doing that anyway. And, you know, I just think there must be talent there, and there is.
Yeah, I'd probably have more confidence that you wouldn't like subjectively try and shove him down people's throats like WWE have done.
And I hopefully think you wouldn't script his promos, because I can see something in him, and I'll give you this. I'm going to be nice to you, and I'm not going to rinse you like you rinse me. I'm going to be nice to you. I'm going to be nice to say there is something there. Just stop telling him what to say.
Yeah, I completely agree. Number 3, MJF, which I think we can pretty much all agree on. Fantastic heel. Brilliant on the mic.
I'm surprised you've picked someone from AEW, to be fair.
Not the only one. Then Samoa Joe, because I'm assuming he's still a wrestler. And again,
He's got about one and a half feet out the door, but you know he's still technically an active competitor.
Yeah, that's for the purpose of this list. I classed him as an active competitor.
Yeah, fair enough. I agree with
know,
that one. That's a good shout, that actually. Good shout.
Yeah. And then Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh, now. Oh, you've thrown a spanner in the works on my list now. Might change it.
I love his work. He's a bit on the, he's a bit on the smaller side, bit of on the lighter side, but he is fantastic. I've never seen anything. I don't like Johnny Gargano, I really don't. But I don't mind the matches that he's had with Tommaso Ciampa because I think Ciampa's really.
Mr. Bunkle, you've made me cross out Kenny Omega.
Hey! Mission accomplished.
Oh no, I saw that. Now you said it. No, I'm joking. I'm playing back. No, you know what? I forgot about that. Yeah, love that.
Yeah. Pete Dunne, former British champion, and I think having that slightly different style. I'm not looking at him as a babyface. I'm looking at him as the chicken shit heel. Essentially, he does all the horrible, nasty little things.
Nitty gritty.
He's a better version of William Regal, is the way I'm looking at it.
He's a dirtier version of William Regal.
You're basically looking at the Pete Dunne who was in the first WWE Championship, UK Championship tournament.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Pete Dunne, I really fucking liked.
Yeah.
I really fucking liked.
Good shout.
So this is where I feel I get a little bit rocky. I'll be honest. Keith Lee.
No, I agree with that one.
I like it.
Yeah, limitless.
Size, athleticism, massive potential going forward, and I think I can. If you do it right, he's going to be a superstar. And
I think he's got everything to be. He's got charisma.
Yeah.
Which is a big plus. He's got the size. He's got the athleticism. He's an amazing performer inside and outside the ring.
Yeah.
Fully agree with that one. Fully agree.
So then I've gone Eli Drake.
Yeah, love it.
Anyone could get over.
Yeah, dummy, yeah. Because me and Lewis were talking about the who could take the title off your bum buddy Aldis.
Yep. Yeah, no.
I came to the agreement that this lad was one of them, Mr. Eli Drake.
And then my second AEW guy, Brian Cage. Now,
who can stop the path of Cage?
I'm looking at him as a monster heel.
Oh yeah.
He's got Taz and he's his manager. I mean, how that can't go wrong. It can't.
I'm just having murdering local talent. That's where I'm going. Just murdering job, guys.
Thanks.
Build into the title shot. Yep.
If I'm not in your list, I swear to God.
Well, if you're not in your own list, then what's the point in us doing this?
Well, I'm the fucking booker, so.
Yeah, and.
So I had real trouble with this. Like the 10th guy. I'll be honest.
I'll spell it out for you.
I did. I had some trouble here because I was thinking. Originally, I had Okada down. And I thought, no. With who I've got here, it's not where I don't think he quite fits. And then I had, for my sins, Jinder Mahal written down.
Oh no, we're putting you in the arbor, pal. If you put that down, feck me.
Purely, just hear me out.
Oh, you want to rinse me for writing down orange-cassidy?
No. I came down and took him off. I took him off.
All right, okay, that's okay.
I'll just put that out there. I took him off. I put him down briefly because I had this thing in my head where, people hate foreigners. And then I was like, wait, no.
That's what was that? People hate foreigners.
Because that's what Vince McMahon did. And I was like, that's why it's wrong.
Foreigners. Okay.
So I ended up, I settled on Drew McIntyre to finish the list.
Can't complain.
Okay.
So, and I know it's what I would call Americanized, and I know that there's, can't say diversity is high on my roll, but there we go.
It's okay, mate, because I'm going to bring the Oriental flavour to my list. Don't you worry about that. So I'll run you through my males on my company. For me, my number one guy, just because I don't think he's ever gotten the main event recognition that he probably ever will get in his career, Tomohiro Ishii. He's a fucking G. He is a G, and we've said this before on sort of a pay-per-view review that sort of if he'd come as good as he's ever gotten before, sort of a little bit earlier in his career, he would probably be recognised as an IWGP World Champion. But it was literally a case of come along at the wrong time, sort of the hype of Hiroshi Tanahashi and sort of the emergence of Kazuchika Okada. My number two would be his main rival through my promotion and someone who I know would be fucking outstanding for my company, Minoru Suzuki.
Oh, it's a great shout. It's a great shout.
A fucking G. And a natural rival for Tomohiro Ishii.
Some of the matches I've been watching because of these lockdown reviews we've been doing with Minoru Suzuki, oh my God. Absolute blessing unto my soul is the only way I can describe it. Yep. Honestly, amazing.
Yeah, so that would be my number two. My number three, I'm classing as the Shinsuke Nakamura role. And by Shinsuke Nakamura role, I mean Shinsuke when he was in New Japan Pro Wrestling, of being sort of someone who could probably elevate my secondary title to be as big as my heavyweight title. Shingo Takagi, who I'm wearing merchandise at the moment. Honestly, lads, since he came into New Japan in late 2018, he has literally just hit the fucking ground running in that promotion. And I've become a great big massive fan. I've seen him live before. He was fucking kick-ass there. He's current never openweight champion at the time of recording. And he's the building up to, in current New Japan lore, the building up to a match with Minoru Suzuki, which I cannot fucking wait for.
You just mentioned that match, and again, we've been doing these lockdown reviews, but that is a match I didn't think would ever happen in my head, but I'm so happy it is happening, and I'm going to throw tremendous amount of money at it to make it happen. My wife's looking at me now in quite disgustingly. We're throwing money at it, love, aren't we? What? Yeah, we are. Okay.
Okay. Right. Just to mix it up a little bit, just because there are two more people from the Orient in my list. I'll have this guy go next. It's featured on Bunkle's list as well, a little bit lower than he put Nick Aldis. Just because I don't think there's anybody in wrestling at the moment that can cut a better promo at the moment than Nick Aldis. And I wouldn't say he's the best wrestler when it comes to in-ring work, but he's not horrible. He's certainly capable of having a great match. And just with sort of the three people that are already on the list at the moment, and with the other people that are going to come, or probably one, maybe. There's potential for great fucking matches there. Number 5, it's a little bit lower than I probably would put it, but I was trying to sort of like prioritize the least recognized people. My number 5 is Kazuchika Okada, because I don't think I've seen someone that's able to adapt to as many wrestlers, other sort of like styles of wrestling, more than Kazuchika Okada has been able to. Like, he's the most adaptable wrestler that I've ever watched, and I feel he needs to be included in sort of like in my promotion.
Absolutely, amen.
Yeah, definitely. Number 6 and 7, I'm going to group together just because they're part of the Lost Shuffle in WWE at the moment, and they are Cesaro and Chad Gable.
Shorty G. What a joke.
Fuck the Shorty G moniker. Literally, bring them in as Antonio Cesaro, Chad Gable, get them doing what they can do best, and they will fucking...
Preach, brother. Preach.
I can fly them to the fucking moon and make them fucking stars, because they have fucking potential.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
My number 8 is another one off of Bunkle's list, so apologies for sort of like nicking off you again. MJF.
Yeah, just on everyone's list, I think.
I think, and your list. Sorry. I knew that it was somebody that somebody mentioned before, but I couldn't really remember. Probably the most natural heel in wrestling at the moment. I think like I was tossing up between MJF and Jay White, but I think there's sort of like you've got more sort of like potential to make a seriously great heel in MJF. You just need to tighten up his ring work a little bit.
I think with MJF, he is so naturally an arsehole. He's just a great arsehole. As Jay White, I think it has to be worked upon a bit. Love, what do you think of MJF? Yeah, see, that's come from someone. She says he's a twat. And that comes from someone who doesn't watch wrestling. And I think MJF is just so naturally that role, and he's so naturally a dickhead. Jay White's a great argument. I think that'll come in time with Jay White. I think we've said this on our reviews. I think in time Jay White's going to evolve into a very big heel, big star.
Yeah, definitely. My number 9 is a former talent for the National Wrestling Alliance, currently working in All Elite Wrestling at the moment, Ricky Starks.
Yeah, it's a good choice.
Yeah, because the thing is, I was very impressed with his work in NWA. Like recently got signed to AEW. I think he's really fucking great.
It's a great signing for AEW. It's a great sign. I remember watching him with Unky Bunky in the NWA, and I remember just saying that this young lad's got a future, and I remember saying to him, I hope it's with NWA. Part of me didn't want him to go to AEW or WWE, because I thought he could have been an even bigger star in NWA and eventually, in a few years, take that heavyweight title. But yeah, amazing signing for AEW. They're lucky to have him. I don't like what they've done with him, putting him in a little a group with Brian Cage. I don't particularly like that. I feel he can be his own star. But yeah, happy for him as a performer going forward. I wish he stayed in NWA, honestly.
Then my 10th pick is sort of like, I imagine it'll probably be the one that you have issue with, and I'll tell you his name and then I'll tell you my reasoning behind the pick. So my 10th pick is Toru Yano. Now, the reason I've picked Toru Yano is because there's a high intensity sort of like, the roster that I've got at the moment in terms of sort of like the males is quite high intensity when it comes to work rate. So every now and then you're going to have sort of like one of your wrestlers come up just sort of like going, oh, I'm feeling it a little bit tonight, kind of wants to take it easy. And I'll be like, not a problem. You go out with Yano, have like 8 to 10 minute match and just sort of like, call it your sort of breather. There's a reason why Toru Yano is involved in the G1 all the time, because he's always put in sort of like the block that's got sort of like the most intense workers. So it's basically sort of like a night off. You can go out there, you can have your fun, it's just basically a comedy match. But Toru Yano is the kind of worker that can sort of get his comedy over to any kind of audience. Doesn't matter if they can't if they can speak Japanese or whether they can't speak Japanese. He's fucking entertainment personified, and he is sort of like the main argument that I would say that funny can make money.
Wholeheartedly agree. Again, I refer back to the lockdown reviews. He was a star. He was a star for me in watching them. I mean, look, I've not followed him as much as I would have in New Japan, but the lockdown reviews and watching all the shows made me fall in love with the bloke. I mean, he can't not do it. Not like that, wife. Not like that.
No,
she's literally there wearing a Real Madrid shirt. She'll be fucking ashamed of herself. All right, shit. Not Daz has been outed. No, but seriously, yeah, wholeheartedly. I fell in love with the bot because I just found him really funny, but not in a slapstick go down to the circus and watch Tower Circus way.
Not in a WWE comedy kind of way. It's like
not in an
genuine laughter. You get genuine laughter from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my list of males.
Nice.
Your list of boys, yes, love that.
My list of boys.
Coxy, tell me your list of boys. Give me your list of boys, please.
Is he on his own list?
You should see the.
For the record, no, I'm not.
You should see the look my wife is giving me right now.
And before I start, can you say, bring me another boy, please?
Coxy, bring me your boys. God, that's gonna be
right, this is really difficult because I've listened to you lot and I've just been like sat here just constantly changing mine, going, no, I need this guy now.
I have changed mine. I have changed mine after listening to Young Lewis and Unky Bunky. I've swapped out Mr. Balor for Mr. Oldis.
Nice.
So it can. Oh, shitting hell. Oh, fucking hell. Fucking exorcist over on the other side of the room at the minute. Shit me. Can I say this is the same woman? We watched the NXT UK takeover in Blackpool live. It was when we had the meet up and we came home and we watched it together. It was when what's his name? Jordan Devlin. Was meant to face Travis Banks, and what's his face came out and said, "I knew you're gonna do this, Mr. Devlin." I don't know who it was, but he definitely didn't have an Irish accent. I don't know why I did that. So I got you a suitable replacement, and then Finn Balor come out, and honestly, the look of death I got from my wife, who. She loves Mr. Devitt, by the way. The look of death of the fact that she was annoyed that it was literally 10 minutes down the road to the point where it's almost 2 years down the line now. I've still not been forgiven for it. So still in the dughouse with that one. If you don't bring it up, fellas, that'd be fantastic. Anyone who's listening, if you can just send a postcard or a bloody... send a nice card to her, that'd be great. deepest condolences and all that bollocks.
Right. So, anyway, with my list for the male talent, I've done this in no particular order apart from like my top one. So I did have Suzuki, but crossed him out. Well, I crossed him out for Masato Tanaka.
Nice.
Oh,
Okay.
You psycho.
What I wouldn't give to see those two in a match to just sort of like decide who your number one boy is.
Well, it
Who's
was
your
a
number one
choice.
boy?
It was a choice between them two. It was a tough choice, and then my number two ended up getting changed several times over. As I originally went from, for some reason, Sammy Callahan
What?
to, well, this is in no particular order to be fair, but then I crossed him out and put Chris Hero, and then crossed him out again and put Jeff Cobb.
Have you just thrown darts at a dartboard and hope for the best here? What the fuck on it? Have you just put random names on a dartboard, put a blindfold over yourself, and right, thrown 20 darts?
You picked Orange Cassidy. Your argument's invalid, Bunkle.
Bloody hell, who put 10p in you? Feck me! Hellfire!
Number three.
To be honest with you, though, Jeff Cobb is a very good pick.
Yeah.
I really like Jeff Cobb.
Number three. Let me talk to you.
Ooh.
Yes.
Eli Drake.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Great.
Dummy. Yeah.
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 Number four, Keith Lee.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well,
Can't-
he is limitless.
Number five, AXC. No, I'm joking.
No, let's be honest, you definitely are there.
I'm
Whatever
actually.
you put in there is fucking false.
I'm actually not because it's here. But
You can be honest. You can be the Jeff Jarrett of your own promotion. So that's
no,
fine.
I wouldn't put myself over. Right.
Yeah, you
Got to promote that up and coming talent, pal. Alistair Black or Tommy End, what you want to call him.
Ooh, nice.
Forgotten.
What number am I on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6, Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah.
I've loved everything he's done in NXT. Number 7, Adam Cole. Number 8, Kenny Omega.
Ooh, controversial.
I still stick.
Stir the pot a bit,
I
Uncle.
still stick by crossing him out for Tommaso Ciampa.
Well, I had a tough pick with number 9 because I had Bryan Danielson and then crossed it out. And then I went with Pete Dunne and crossed that out, and I put MJF.
On everyone's list.
Can we just agree, though? MJF is probably one of the best up-and-comers in the wrestling business today, regardless of what... Don't you give me that look. Fecking hell.
I'm waiting for the point where you say something and you're like, no, put a knife down.
At some point in this podcast, all you're going to see is a massive chair being thrown in my direction and then pure silence for the rest of the podcast because of a wife.
We'll just see a blood splatter.
You might see a blood splatter. It depends how blunt the object is. How blunt is it, wife?
Well, we are recording, so we should be able to make a lean, mean 250 bean if we send it to you, bin frame.
I can't wait till this podcast is put onto the folder of evidence.
Well, it's already got its title of 2,000 seconds, whatever it was, 7,000 seconds.
7,000 seconds.
I'm sorry, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. You know what? I've worked in so many schools and heard the most retarded things, but 7,000 seconds is amazing.
I kind of hope at
Mr.
some
Dark,
point,
I've done it in 7,000 seconds. No
I'm kind of
fuckers
hoping-
ever.
I'm kind of hoping at some point you have to give your kids a test and you're like, right, kids, you've got 7,000 seconds. Go.
You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to call it the Unky Bunky rule.
I consider that a win.
Who's it named after? Unky Bunky. Who's he? None of your fucking business. He's that lad that bums Magnus. Right.
I know this one's going to shock you all now, so I'm going to wait for Bunkle to finish his drink first before I...
Oh, it's Strongbow, so give him
my final pick, it's not even dark fruits either.
You eat dark fruits? Fucking hell.
Who drinks Strongbow?
I do. To be fair, Strongbow's not a bad shout, to be fair.
You fucking animal.
Number 10, Joey Hayes.
Right, that's it. I'm going off. See you fucking later, fellas. I've had enough.
I mean, to be honest with you, I've still got issue that you had Minoru Suzuki on your list and you took him off.
From Masato Tanaka.
Yeah. There's no reason why
You need mental help. What the fuck is wrong with you?
It's invalid for the
No
Cassidy.
disrespect to Joey Hayes, but for fuck's sake.
This coming from the guy who put Orange Cassidy on his list.
Oh, yeah. Hell, fight. Yeah, but he's a damn sight better than bloody Joey Big Bollocks. Heck me. Oh, have you seen his bloody Snapchat? He's just in a high vis in a fucking warehouse all day.
And it's not as if he said CJ Banks, for fuck's sake. Calm down.
I'll say, at the end of the day, I've seen Joey Hayes do more wrestling than I've ever seen Orange Cassidy do.
Oh, right. Oh, no. Oh, my God.
He's not a wrestler. He's a fucking cosplayer.
Oh, I feel so ill. It's a good job we're all friends, because fuck me.
Can we use the term cosplayer for a certain British promoter as well?
Could do if you wanted to.
He's a fan who wants to be a promoter.
My wife's currently cosplaying as Gonzalo Higuain.
You're definitely getting a chest.
She's got the same pace, the same movement. Don't know about the finishing, but fucking hell.
God.
You are definitely getting something thrown at you tonight.
You're getting murdered.
In your sleep. Pillow to the face.
Yeah, as I was saying before,
she's not done that already is nothing short of a miracle.
As I was saying before, Anthony came in and sort of like went on his anti-Joey Hayes tirade. I sort of like, my main issue is, it's like, don't get me wrong, I'm not discrediting the fact that you've got like Masato Tanaka on there. Don't get me wrong, but the fact is you had Minoru Suzuki on there and you couldn't find anywhere else on the list for him to go back on. I mean, you got fucking Kenny Omega there, for fuck's sake.
All right, to make you happy.
Why has no one else got Naito on there? Come on. Also, Joey Hayes, you can't have my sister. You never will have my sister. So please stop. Just leave her alone. That'd be great. There you go. Right, I've got that out of the way.
No, you see, you're just doing this because I've told you to do it.
No, that's my audience, mate. That's what good promoters do.
Hey, my booking style, they'd fucking kill for any of the wrestlers on my list.
I'm a good promoter. I listen to my audience.
I don't. I hate my audience.
Anyway, shall we move on to the females, gentlemen?
Was that Ted?
Bring up another girl.
No, whoa. I'm very happy. Yeah, I'm not. I'm very happy. That's not my catchphrase. Very happy at the minute. However, Coxy, you just well, that's yours now.
You are the master of boys.
Well, I'd rather have Bring Me Up Another Boy than Bring Me Up Another Girl, considering the current climate. So, am I going first with the ladies? Ladies.
Yeah, we can go in the same order.
Okay. I've gone with first. Oh, do I go with first? Right. First, Asuka.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh no. Oh, I've already written the two next. Second, Thunder Rosa.
Yes.
Love Mrs. Thunder Rosa.
I was going to put Thunder Rosa on my list, but I haven't seen enough of her for her to make my list, which, is probably changed.
She's hard hitting, nitty gritty, I like to say, very nitty gritty. I think she's fantastic. Now, number 3 is where it gets interesting. Number 3. Oh, I've already. Hikaru Shida. Current AEW Women's Champion.
Right, yeah.
I'm going to be very, very honest. A lady who I've heard very little of until she came to AEW. However, I've absolutely, I was going to say fallen in love with her. However, that's not going to stand me instead with the woman who's currently across the room from me. I think she's fantastic. She said, "Oh shit!" She's just peered around the door. I think she's fantastic inside and outside the ring. She's quite a lovable person. You connect with her. I don't think there's anything wrong. Number 4. Oh God, you're gonna do it to me, aren't you? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're doing it to me. Number 4. I'm gonna have to go with Britt Baker. Oh, Bunkle, fucking hell. God, I hate to see you so disappointed, Bunkle. I have to say Britt Baker because very rarely do we see a woman who has, or any athlete for that matter, have a long injury who's going to be out for several months and yet still manages to keep herself relevant in storylines and interesting, is what I've seen in AEW.
Are you not confusing? Oh, Britt Baker. Do you know what? I was. Yeah. Sorry.
The dentist who then was a bunny, who then was something else.
She wasn't a bunny. That was.
She's
Ali.
always that's Ali. You don't even know what you're talking about.
You know the name.
Stop slagging off.
I was getting Britt Baker confused with Will Ospreay's Mrs. whatever her fucking name is. Yeah, that's it.
No,
I was getting them two mixed up for whatever reason.
Baker, a fantastic heel. I think she started off quite iffy in AEW because they were trying to promote her as the Charlotte Flair face of the AEW. It wasn't working. She's gone to a heel, which is quite good, quite interesting. She picked up a very nasty injury, which is going to keep her out for quite a long time. She's in a wheelchair. She's called herself the role model, which I thought was very, very, very funny. And she's managed to keep that interesting. End of. Number 5. This might cause a few heads to roll. Rosemary.
Haven't seen enough of her.
No.
I like the she's so good in the ring, and I like the work she does outside of it. She puts the work in the promos and the backstage scenes, if you know what I mean. She's a great character. It's a great character, and she's built that all on her own. She came through with Abyss and Crazy Steve as Decay, and she's broke away from that. I've seen her at a certain unnamed promotion. Please insert it here, Coxy.
Don't want to give him the publicity.
And she was, considering who she paints herself as and the character she portrays, what a lovely bloody woman at the end of the day as well. The fact that it wasn't just, I'm a massive wrestling fan and we went to this wrestling promotion with my mother and my sister on a regular basis. It's how I met you lot. It's how I'm here on the podcast. I'm so sorry. And my sister was the one that actually said, I want a picture taken with her. She seems quite cool. And for my sister to go up and do that is a big leap for her because she's quite she doesn't like meeting people. She doesn't like meeting people, let alone famous people. And the fact that she paid a good 20 to 30 quid to not to actually have a picture with Rosemary, but get something signed by her as well, spoke volumes to me as a brother and as a person commenting on wrestling to who this woman actually is. I think she is very, very underrated. I don't know what you guys think. I think she's so very underrated.
Yeah, as I say, haven't seen that much of it. I haven't seen that much of her, to be honest. Haven't seen that much of her. Uncle, do you want to go next?
Yeah, we'll keep it in the same order right now. So, number 1, Charlotte Flair. She is the most talented, and she looks a star. So, she's number 1. Number 2, Rhea Ripley.
Ooh,
the
that's
perfect foil for my number 1.
To be honest with you, like, Rhea Ripley is, well, I see more sort of like potential in Rhea Ripley than Award in sort of like Toni Storm.
Yeah.
Like, you know when like people were hyping up Toni Storm to the absolute fucking moon?
Yeah.
I just remember looking at her just sort of like going, I do not see it. I don't see it. Sorry, but...
Yeah, you see, like, I remember when... I mean, I wasn't actually that impressed with it when I saw Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley for the NXT UK Women's Championship. I wasn't that impressed. But I remember a conversation I was having with Mr. Dark. Rhea Ripley's selling is phenomenal. For a woman who, in most of her matches, is probably the bigger athlete. I think her selling is fantastic.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Mr. Bunkle.
Number 3, Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, my girl. She is so good. I honestly, get this girl watched. She's the NWA Women's Champ for a fucking reason.
She is.
Get this girl watched.
Yeah,
seriously.
She is muck and filth.
Get her. Whoa, okay.
Well, there's also the
whoa.
The MMA documentary she did, wasn't there as well? That was a really good watch.
Yes, yeah.
Get her on your face. Get her on your face. Get her on your TV screen, and enjoy your fucking life.
Yeah.
A fantastic.
Can you rephrase that, please, Anne, rather than get her on your face?
Get her on your TV screens for fucking.
Get her on your TV screens. Get her on your T-shirt. New merch.
She's amazing, honestly. Inside the ring, up there, seriously up there, seriously up there. And I'm not saying that because I want to please Bunkle, but because I truly believe she is one of, if not the top female performers out there today. Call me out if you want, but I honestly think you talk about your Charlotte Flairs, you talk about your Becky Lynch. Fair enough. I'm going to talk about my Thunder Roses, if that's all right with you. End of.
Yeah. Number 4, Asuka. Again, I think fantastic in the ring, fantastic out of the ring. No, I want to give her more time to speak. I think that's one thing that they don't do enough of. And though I like the whole let's just scream at everybody in Japanese because nobody knows what I'm saying.
That's brilliant.
I think it's a great gimmick.
Yeah,
I think it's great.
I think it's great, but I think she could. I think what was it? Oh, it was Nakamura actually, where he was doing saying it in English, and then he got asked a question he didn't like. He goes, "Don't speak."
Speaky English.
It was the night after WrestleMania 34.
Yeah.
Just sort of like, I'm really sorry that I low-blowed AJ Styles, and just gives a wink at Renee Young. And it's Renee's just there, just going, I think you're being disingenuous. Did you just sort of like, can you actually give us sort of like an actual, meaning, a reason behind your actions? He just sort of looks away, looks back, and he goes, sorry, no speak English. I just walked off. It's just fucking.
To be fair, at that point when I watched it, I thought, oh, you know what, you've won television, you've won the internet. There's nothing left for me to do. I've switched off. That's it for me.
And you were right too, because he went on to have an incredibly forgettable feud with Mr. AJ Styles.
And then I got stuck between two here as my fifth. And I'm still stuck now, to be honest, looking at it.
Let's help you decide. Go on, talk to us.
I'm going to... Based on potential and hopefully not poisoning my locker room, I'm going to choose Camille because I know she's green as goose shit, but I think she has the look, she has the charisma, and she can be a star.
Who's the other one?
Tessa Blanchard.
No, Camille. All the fucking way, Camille. All the fuck. Tessa Blanchard, on a serious note, fuck you for trying to change women in professional wrestling and women a world title. And then you go off and be an absolute arsehole and think you can just like keep the title away from that company and then hold it for ransom. I'm sorry, you've just been a dick. At least come back and defend it in some capacity, even if you're going to drop it. I don't care. Sorry, stop being a dick. Camille. Fuck Camille.
Anthony, she's a horrible fucking human being as Tessa Blanchard.
I know.
The thing is with Camille, it's just sort of like her majority of her wrestling career, she's been I don't want to say a valet, but she's been the insurance policy for Nick Aldis.
Yeah.
Like, you just give her time, train her properly.
Well, it's like I always say, my slogan in life is I take a nice idiot over a smart arsehole any day. To be honest, Camille, you can work with that. That's the kind of lady who you put in a ring and she'll listen to you, and she will improve. She's going to be an absolute fucking star one day.
Yeah.
This Tessa Blanchard cunt, because fuck me, absolute entitled arsehole. That's what she is, an entitled arsehole. End of the day, I'm sorry. She had the opportunity to put women's wrestling on a fucking pedestal. And instead of acting like a champion, like you would Nick Aldis, and promoting a company and leading the company and putting that company above or else, you hide away in your home and you say, oh, give me this money, I'll give you back your championship. Sod off, do one, you're a disgrace. You've probably put women's wrestling back in that company back a couple of years. I feel sorry for the women in Impact Wrestling because of that woman. I feel sorry for them.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, I was looking at purely... Like I've watched, I want to say probably more Tessa Blanchard matches than I'd like to admit, just because I started to watch TNA for some strange reason. Sorry, Impact Wrestling, it's not TNA anymore. But like I watched, I don't know if anybody else watched What's Causing All This, but I watched the episode with Camille where he sat down and he spoke to her about how she got started in wrestling, and she is trained, she just hasn't had many matches, and you can see that. And her debut on Power was built up to be a big thing, and that's the way I'd look at it. That's the way I'd look to use her. At the minute, is she the polished article? No, but she doesn't need to be, especially in the roster of 5 I've put together. She doesn't need to be the polished star. She can come in, she can work with enhancement talent, and we'll build her.
You can work with her and build her up to a very, because obviously this year the Crockett Cup was going to be a massive event. Hopefully it gets done next year. I'm not going to say it's going to say next year, 2021, but you can imagine 2022 they can build Camille to be a fucking big star.
Yeah.
Going up against Thunder Rosa, and I'm not being funny, but us as a 4, I can't speak for every single one of you, but I personally would look forward to that match. Camille versus Thunder Rosa, a very polished Camille who's toned up on her wrestling skills for at least a year and a half against a Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
Money. It's money. I'm just going to say one word. Money.
I've got a money match in my female list, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's counteract that. In fact, I'll get onto it now. So my 5 females I'm including in my roster. Number 1 for me, Asuka. Ever since she's come into WWE, I have loved pretty much everything that she has done, bar her losing at WrestleMania 34 to Charlotte, for Charlotte to just lose the women's title to Camille in just sort of like, cash in moments, as WWE likes to call it. I think that was a complete waste, and then she was just kept off the roster for like a year or whatever, and then they tried building her back up again, and then she's sort of like starting to find some success, sort of like at this point in time. But I just look back at sort of like when she initially came in as just being this fucking dominant force, and she was she still is fucking awesome. And her YouTube page is fucking awesome as well. If you ever get a chance to catch up, it's really fucking entertaining.
Yeah, her YouTube is awesome. Her as a wrestler, she's a complete performer. End of.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to add anything else other than she's a complete performer. End of.
Yeah. My number 2 is who I will put against Asuka in the big money match, because we didn't get it in WWE. Kairi Sane. I fucking love Kairi Sane. I only ever watched the first Mae Young Classic. Didn't watch the second one for whatever reason. Just couldn't really be bothered watching it. But she was the standout performer from that tournament. And then sort of like her run in NXT was, I think it could have been better, but was sacrificed sort of like for what is my number 3 pick, which I'll get to in a minute. But I just think she's a great fucking worker. Yeah, and I feel that she was done a bit dirty with before she left the company, just sort of like, being ragdolled about by a certain Samoan or certain member of the Samoan family.
Kairi's so underrated. So underrated. This girl does not get the praise that she deserves. It's actually borderline heartbreaking to watch her perform the way she does and not get the praise. Borderline heartbreaking on a personal level. And then she gets wrecked up by The Rock's cousin, and then nothing happens. So that shows you where WWE is at the minute. So fuck them. If they don't want a fantastic performer like Kairi Sane, whatever. Obviously, she's going to go back to Japan, be an absolute star, like we all of us know she can be, and she will be. Mm-hmm. And in another 10 years' time, we'll be saying the rest is history. This girl's so underrated. It's criminal.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. My number 3 is, to my last 3 could be sort of like a tad controversial. I've gone with Shayna Baszler because I really quite like her gimmick, sort of like her MMA gimmick. I really liked her work in sort of like NXT. I sort of like had a problem with her, the same problem I'd have with Jay White, in that she's so great of a heel, she doesn't really need sort of like the outside interference. I think that's the only thing that really sort of like dragged it down a little bit for me. I think she's a fantastic performer. I think if you put her in the ring with like a really good worker, you'll get a really darn good fucking match out of it.
Yeah.
It's a performer I'd really like on my roster.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. I don't like the interfering with her 2 MMA buddies that she's had in her matches through NXT. I don't think she needs that.
Nope.
I think she can be an absolute kick-ass on her own.
Well, she is.
She is a kick-ass on her own. But I think we spoke about this sometimes with God and Gato. I know it's completely different, but it's the same situation. I think sometimes it devalues the performer, rather than the storyline which they're trying to get over. Shayna Baszler doesn't need them two ladies. The fact that I don't even know their names is criminal. But
it's
I don't.
Marina. I know one's Marina Shafir.
The other one's
I know that
Jessamine
much.
Duke.
And one's Jessamine Duke, because Marina Shafir is the one who's married to Roderick Strong.
Right. But the fact that I don't know that.
Yeah.
And
says it all.
I think, well, it says it all, doesn't it? That you have to know it because Roderick Strong's married to one of them, or you know what I mean. And not a shot on anyone, but Shayna Baszler can be a stud, an absolute star on her own. And I think if you keep them two ladies away from her, you're going to do Shayna Baszler the absolute a massive benefit. In all honesty, a big benefit.
Yeah. My number 4 is quite out of left field, because I was considering sort of like Awesome Kong, just for sort of like a work in TNA. Of just sort of like when she was this great big monster going up against Gail Kim, which is sort of like one of the things that's talked about in sort of like the grand scheme of TNA. I considered Ember Moon as well, because I actually think she's a really darn good fucking worker, but she's lost in the shuffle. But my number 4 is going to be Piper Niven, also known as Viper on the UK Indies.
Okay.
I think she's... I just think she's really fucking good. I really fucking... Well, she's not the best wrestler. I wouldn't say she's the best wrestler.
I disagree. I think she's a fucking amazing wrestler. And I think she's another one of these NXT UK wrestlers that have gone under the radar and have been so underrated. She's fantastic, I think. When I've seen her in the certain wrestling promotion,
the Atlanta Falcons,
England Patriots. That's the only football team I'll let you dub over me. She's a fantastic wrestler. I've not seen much promo work from her, but I'm not going to start criticising something I haven't seen. All I know is she's an absolutely fantastic lady, totally devoted to the business. Again, one of those NXT UK wrestlers that are completely underrated. I had the displeasure of watching NXT these last couple of weeks, and there's Aaliyah.
Oh God!
If again, Uncle, look me in the eyes, you dirty little chaffinch, and tell me that Piper Niven is better than Aaliyah.
Oh, she is 100% better than Aaliyah. Aaliyah is fucking dog shit.
That's the backward nature I hate about NXT. That Viper, or I'm going to call her Viper, is better than most of that NXT women's roster.
Yeah.
It doesn't need an argument, and I honestly couldn't care if you disagree with me. It's, as far as I'm concerned, she's better. She's honestly, I think she's the best British wrestler, best British women's wrestler. I think could have one hell of a match with Rhea Ripley. I think she could have one hell of a match with Kaylee Ray. She's up there with the best. And I don't think she's being treated that way. And I think it's absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
That's why. She's an absolutely lovely lady. And she works her absolute fucking arse off. And she's not getting the recognition she deserves. And I think it's fucking wrong. Honestly.
Sort of similar to my number 5 pick is just sort of like, I know a lovely lady I know they're completely dedicated to the sort of like the craft. And the one thing that my fifth pick has got is that they're pretty much sort of like new in the industry. And I'd have confidence in her sort of like going into my locker room and be eager to want to learn as much as possible from the other people I've got in my locker room. And that is from, well, I want to say UK Indies fame, but, you know, just sort of like from the UK Indies, Rio. Not the Rio that's in AEW, but like Rio that works in the northwest of England.
Rio, I walked past you in the Pear Tree pub in Pembrokeshire near Kingsford, and I said hello, and you completely blanked me. So go fuck yourself. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I am so joking. This she is actually speaking to the where I used to live in Penwortham. I live in Blackpool now. I know I've downgrade. So, oh fuck off! You know it's okay. Yeah, you're laughing at me, but you know I'm telling the truth.
How much whiskey have you had?
Hang on. How full's a bottle?
Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. I used to live in Penwortham. The Pear Tree pub was my local, and was it? One of her relatives was like a regular. I didn't know this until I went to a show. I saw her with a certain Yeston Reese. Again, Yeston Reese starts with an I, in case you're fucking really not the yes, the way it's fucking said. As far as I know, I was sort of asking. She said, "Oh, she's just starting out. She's going to this. She started professional wrestling." So, oh right, okay, fair enough. Again, none the wiser as to who she was. But then I realised it was Rio.
Yeah.
I only realised that as she walked past me as I was walking out after about 15 pints of Strongbow. All I can say is, from that point of view, as I think I know her less from the wrestling and more from the what the community say. What a hardworking young lady.
Yeah.
What a lovely hardworking lady, who's put in so much work, to the point where, to be fair, if pissheads are saying, "Oh, she's wasting her life doing that," I'd honestly say, I said, look, if that's what she wants to do, fair play to her, let her work at it. And I couldn't be happier for her, to be honest with you. I mean, she walked into that pub one night, presumably after an event of some sort. She looked like $1 million. And she felt like, me as a wrestling fan, felt like a star.
Mm.
And to hear what I heard from her locals, from her friends, from her family, that she's there all the time, she's working, I said, fair play to her. God bless her. You know, she works hard. She gets what she deserves. She's getting what she deserves out of it. World's her oyster. Off you go, love. Off you go.
Are you done?
No. No, I'm just trying to get across that. I didn't know her personally, but I felt I knew her a bit more than the performer I just saw with Yeston Reese, because all I saw was a valet with Yeston Reese. That's all I saw from her, and not the hard-working powerhouse that I heard of and saw after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, God bless her. She's worked hard. She deserves what she gets out of it.
I trained with her briefly for White Collar 4, to be fair.
I did too.
She was really nice, and she was at the Dave Taylor seminar, and she was like she was chatting to us all and stuff, and giving us bits of advice. And she said to us, "Oh, it's show tonight, like you booked or anything?" She's like, "No, not booked. Like, go and play bingo with me, Nan." I was like, "Oh, fair enough."
My sister was in the same school year as her. She's a lovely lady. She's very, very lovely. She's not an arsehole. She doesn't fucking give you the, she doesn't lay into you if you're not doing it. She's fantastic. She's so nice. And she works hard, and she deserves all the success she gets. And I'm very, very happy that someone put her on their list, shall we say. Their list of girls.
Well, I'm sort of like Coxy in that I'd sort of like trained a little bit sort of like with her, and I could sort of recognise the fact that she is passionate, she is hardworking, and she's pretty darn good in the ring, and I think that's something that you could utilise a lot. Right, Mr. AXC, you've had plenty of time to mull over your females list.
Oh, I've changed one already, so.
Ooh, controversial.
Of course. Well, it's
where's
not
Carmella
much.
and where's she going? SWLAUS.
It's the fact that even as my mate Dave Anderson pointed out, is that bit where it's the LOUAS, and it sounds like she's saying AS. It's like she's actually saying ass, but it more sounds more like AS.
Can we just take a pause to just applaud Corey Graves?
Jesus.
Right, off we go. Carry on.
So
I'm not applauding that dickhead. Fuck off.
Oh, to be, you know what? Let's not get into it. Let's fucking carry on. I'll applaud it.
My first pick, of course, everyone's favourite Latina, Thunder Rosa.
Yeah. Woo! Love it.
Number 2, Asuka.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, give it to me, Coxy. Give it to me.
You stop drinking.
Yeah, like first you're saying get Thunder Rosa on your face, now you're like,
I didn't
bring on
mean
the
it.
girls.
I meant get Thunder Rosa on your telly, rather not get her on your face. You know what I meant, listeners. You know what I meant.
The reason the speaking out movement, mate. Come on.
Wow. Okay.
Number 3, Alison Kay.
Ooh.
Me and you, Bunko, had a discussion about this.
Yeah.
Where she stands in the grand old stage of women's wrestling. I reckon she's up there.
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything else in case I'm outed as a fucking, fucking hell. Fet me.
Number 4, Rhea Ripley.
Yep. Can't argue.
Yeah.
And my number 5, I did have down as Mia Yim.
Ooh.
Okay. Not seen enough of it personally.
I've liked what I've seen of her on NXT, to be fair, but then like the fact that Lewis is like just throwing her in there, I've got to go like Rio.
Nah.
I think there's a case for Mia Yim as a strong 6th in all our lists, so to speak, because of yeah. I certainly think she's the best of the or one of the best of the NXT ladies up there.
Yeah. Right, tag teams, gentlemen.
Oh fuck! Am I going first?
Yes.
No, I can go first. I can go first if you want.
Yeah. Swap it up.
I'll go first because because I've got my sort of like my list pretty much sorted.
And I'm going to
so
help.
Yeah, well, I've got pad and pen as well, so that's fine. So my number one pick in terms of tag teams are the former Revival, Scott Dawson, Dash Wilder. Don't know what they go under in AEW, but FTR.
They call it FTR, i.e. fuck the rest.
Yeah, I don't know what they go under sort of like individually, but I know they're FTR in AEW.
Harwood and some other fucking head.
See, you don't fucking know, and you watch AEW week to week.
Doesn't mean I pay attention. Fucking hell.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just looking for a tag team that sort of a great sort of like throwbacks to tag team wrestling in the 80s, I'd say they're the perfect fucking example, really. And they give sort of like a bit of a modern twist without going into sort of like flip-de-doo wrestling that has become a staple of modern day.
Yeah. They are a fresh outlook on the Young Bucks.
Yeah, they are what a proper tag team should be.
Yeah.
For those of you who are watching the... yeah. I think they're a fresh outlook on what we think tag team wrestling is.
You're making a change there.
I am making a big change, and I'll go over it later. It's a massive change as well.
Okay. My number 2 pick is the Undisputed Era contingent of Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong.
Oh.
Just because when Bobby Fish got that like knee injury and was out for like a year, and Roderick Strong had to step in his place, I honestly think the matches or the tag team matches that they had, I think the quality stepped up quite a lot. And don't get me wrong, I think Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly are a fucking amazing tag team. But I just remember sort of like the takeover matches that they had with like Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, and then you had the match against like the War Raiders, or like the Viking Raiders as they're known at this point in time, which incidentally are also on my list as well. I just thought that those matches were just sort of absolutely fucking incredible sort of like tag team matches. And like, can you imagine sort of like O'Reilly and Strong against like FTR? I mean, fuck me.
They did very well because Bobby Fish got a very nasty injury.
Yep. Yeah,
it sort of happened by accident, but I do agree with you in the fact that they are a very good tag team. Go on, look in your phone, James. I don't care.
No, I'm agreeing with you so much I'm changing my list.
I do agree. In fact, I'm thinking about it myself at the moment.
I'm changing my list. It's on my phone. I apologise.
Stop changing my mind.
You probably won't change it once you find out who I've picked next. But anyway, go on, Anne.
I agree with you in that because I've only not put them because I knew someone else would. That sounds like such a shitty reason to not include.
It's just who you want.
But it's making me think now. Carry on. Get on with it before I change my mind. Get on with it. No, okay. I don't like it. So delete.
Third pick that I've sort of like already spoiled for myself are the War Raiders, Viking Raiders, Raymond Rowe and Hanson, like the former what were they known as in Ring of Honor?
The War Raiders.
War Machine,
that was it.
War Machine. I really fucking like this team. They're just sort of like a mixture of sort of like power and sort of like big man athleticism. And as I say, sort of like, I think they're like, well, it wasn't technically their swan song, but it was like technically the swan song for Ricochet and Aleister Black in NXT. But I always remember that match being fucking amazing. Amazing. They're an amazing fucking tag team. And also sort of like it's a promotion that will remain nameless. I remember they sort of like had there's two matches that I saw them. They had a match against O'Reilly and Fish when they were Red Dragon, and there was a match against the UK Hooligans as well. This unnamed promotion. Both of those matches, fucking fantastic. Great. They're really darn good tag team in my opinion.
I will say this about them two gentlemen. Said promotion between this promotion between another promotion that will have to pay us to promote them. We arrived early and went for a breakfast somewhere at another undisclosed location that might promote us or not. And we saw these. We saw War Machine taking pictures outside the venue, which made sponsors or not, and they were the nicest human beings, most courteous. Because you get it all the time that famous people don't want to have anything to do with you outside. They don't want anything to do with you. They don't want to take pictures outside of the venue or whatever. Eric and Ivor, as they're known now, or Hanson and Rowe, as I knew them, were the loveliest, perfect gentlemen, because I was gushing over him as a wrestling fan. Gushing! I'm going to use gushing over him as a wrestling fan. My mother and my sister, who were not the biggest wrestling fans, but knew of them, they were so courteous and so nice to give them the time to take photographs, to have have a chat, just have a chat. You know what I mean? It was a 5-minute chat. That's all it was, and it meant so much to my mum and my sister to have that chat with legitimate big stars who were just floundering around. And we helped us out. Oh, hotel is that way. If you just go up there and oh yeah, if you want to go for a drink, you go in that way. And oh yeah, good breakfast. You want to come with us for breakfast? That'll be fine. They were so nice and so courteous. It meant more to me seeing them behave that way to my sisters and my mother than. To be fair, they could have called me an arsehole and told me to fuck off.
It's just the little things with sort of like the wrestlers outside of the ring that just sort of like they leave more of an impression in you, which is sort of ironic because sort of like I was tossing in my mind who my fourth pick would be, because it's interesting you talk about sort of like generosity with wrestlers outside the ring, because I kept thinking of sort of like Apollo Crews when he was Uhaa Nation at like said promotion that we used to go to, and I remember because he was teamed up with Chad Gable at some point. I think it was like at some point last year, but it wasn't on TV. It was on the house show circuit. So I was just sort of like, I don't know if it'll technically, be allowed. But fucking hell, what a fucking tag team that would have been. But my fourth pick, and this is probably the most controversial, is Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus from the Jurassic Express. And I see Bunkle with his head
do you want me to leap to your defence before Bunkle lifts you a new arsehole?
I'll give my reasons first. I think, well, I've not seen sort of like the Jurassic Express of sort of like, current AEW moniker. But I watched AEW for a little bit when it very first got going, and the combination of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus I thought was really darn fucking good. I thought Luchasaurus had a unique look, and a unique, to an extent, wrestling style. I was impressed to see him sort of like move around for a guy that's as big as he is. And I think Jungle Boy, despite being a little bit on the small side, I think he's got something in terms of sort of like being such a natural babyface that you could probably like if you wanted to sort of like split that tag team up, you could probably look at him being sort of like a great big massive white hot babyface that would be able to get any sort of crowd on his side.
Bunkle, off you go, and then I'll prove you wrong later.
To be fair, this is less egregious than the Orange-Cassidy incident, of course.
How about you calling it an incident? Like there's been a crash on the M62.
It's worse than a crash. It's a fucking murder. It's called the murder of wrestling.
Bloody hell. The Cornette symbiote is at it again.
No, I tell you what. As someone who, like you, hasn't seen the most recent AEW and this, that, and the other, I will openly admit to that. And the majority of what I know of current AEW is what Jim Cornette says, because Jim Cornette reviews it all the time. And, I trust him. I watched my 7,200 seconds of AEW and knew that it was a load of bullshit.
Well, he's not. Cornette's not going to be able to review it now because chris-jericho's banned him for the foreseeable future of him reviewing any AEW content.
Because you can stop somebody watching a show that's free to watch. Further proof that Chris Jericho is an idiot.
Fuck yeah!
Azan has an aneurysm in the other room.
I don't feel well.
I don't actually have a problem with the pick because I also believe Jungle Boy possibly does have something in the future. He could become greater than this tag team. I think Luchasaurus is a fucking idiot. I'll never forget the match where he was trying to hold his mask on and still wrestle. Come on, lads.
Oh, come on.
It doesn't look fucking carny as shit. It doesn't look fucking terrible.
I've not seen it. Plus, it could have been worse. I could have said Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt. Then you probably would have lost your fucking.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Fair enough.
And
okay.
I will tell you this. There is a reason why I picked Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus because I don't get it with Marco Stunt. Like he's little. That's his gimmick. Does that like this?
Yeah,
the thing
I
is,
agree with that. We agree.
The thing is with Jungle Boy is like he's got natural baby face. He looks like a natural baby face. Whereas it's sort of like so he can get. That is
what he is.
Yeah. So when you've got like Marco Stunt doing these sort of like Tilt World Hurricane Ranas on like Ray Phoenix and fucking Pentagon Jr. and they're actually fucking bumping for it. That just looks it looks fake. And I realise it's pro wrestling, it's fake. It's not real to you, damn it. But, there needs to be a little bit of believability with it.
Yeah.
And I say sort of like a little bit of believability because I realise what Luchasaurus is, but Luchasaurus is unique to me. And I think like him and Jungle Boy would make a very decent tag team.
Amen.
Right, next.
Is it me?
Yes, go on, Mr. Cox.
Please, Coxy, go first, please.
Put some cocks in your ears.
Put some Coxy in you.
Careful now.
That's almost as bad as get Thunder Rosa on your face.
Fucking hell. Oh, Thunder Rosa, if you listen, I didn't mean it like that. You know what I mean.
She's not going to listen to this. It's fine.
Yes, she will. She loves Lost Art.
Maybe that can be an alternative name for the show. Thunder on your face.
fucking tag her in it. What have we got to lose? Let's be honest.
So first of all, FTR.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No joke.
Secondly, I changed this one. I can't remember who I had previously, but I've gone with War Machine because I forgot about them.
Fair enough.
I was on the bus home on Wikipedia, like looking through tag team and stuff on Wikipedia, going, "Oh yeah, there's them guys," and I just kept forgetting like other teams. Third pick, Red Dragon.
Oh, that's a good
Yep.
shout.
Yeah.
Love that. Love it.
Of course, saw them at the first Super Show of Honor weekender, and just amazing. So, fourth pick, Gallows and Anderson.
Ooh.
Oh no! Oh, talk to me. What's your thought process behind that?
I just think they're a decent tag team. Like, plus you can, like, as Bunkle said with his, he's like, I can split these guys up and have them as jobbers.
Okay, fair enough.
But not only that, but I quite like the gimmicks of like Chad Too Bad and like Sex Ferguson. Like, I think Sex Ferguson's fucking hilarious.
Who's Sex Ferguson?
He's
Is that the gimmick? Was that their gimmicks on Southpaw?
yeah, that they used on the
Yes.
Talking Shopmania.
What the fuck is Sex Ferguson? Fucking hell.
I'll send you a video.
Help me out here, fellas.
I'll show you a video.
I'd rather you didn't. Can I please go on to my tag teams now before I fucking get... I don't want to...
I was going to say I've got special mentions as well for two teams, but simply because of the names. Unfortunately, neither of them are together anymore, and there was the Roderick Strongs, which Roderick Strong wasn't part of. He wasn't part of, but they were called the Roderick Strongs.
Oh, fuck me.
And there was also the Unbreakable fucking Machines, which is Brian Cage and Michael Elgin.
But
there we go.
To be fair, that is a cool name.
Yeah. Right. And
It's dark.
I am... firstly, I'd like to apologise. I'd like to go with G.O.D., the Gorillas of Destiny. That's my first pick.
Yep.
Second pick, I'd like to go with the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon and Phoenix.
Okay.
Oh, fuck off.
You know, if it's like
Honestly, Uncle looks like he conceded a goal in the last minute of the Champions League final. Fucking hell.
how would you know that? How would he know that though?
I don't know. Oh, we're both City fans. That's the team.
Who knows? Who knows?
Hang oh God, he wins the Premier League and he thinks he's fucking bullshit. Right.
I'm not.
Oh, you've won it once. Let's have a big bang. Right, fucking hell.
I'm not the one that called it. I'm not the one that called it the corrupt cup, buddy. Yeah.
Oh,
It is.
well, put it this way, I'd rather lift a European Cup than have my car on bricks. Right. Now,
Yeah, literally the only thing I'd say about the Lucha Bros would be no Canadian destroyers and cut down on the Cero Miedo.
I agree with you. I agree with you there. I think they're better than that.
They need to learn how to make tags.
Well, and that comes with being in wrestling.
My other two, now, I was struck between four, and I've narrowed it down. I was struck between Santana or Ortiz, the Young Bucks, FTR,
Kill yourself now.
FTR, and the North from Impact.
I've not seen enough of the North.
I have narrowed it down to FTR.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Bunkle is literally as close to the webcam as he can possibly be.
And I'm still not. I'm still not determined on my last choice. I'm good. You know what? I crossed out one and I put the other. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go with the North.
Can't argue with that.
Who's in the North? I haven't seen any of this.
It's a good point. I don't know the name specifically. However,
the one called Ethan, is it Ethan Page or Alexander Page?
Yeah. I've watched matches.
I love the fact that you're looking it up now. I can just see the glow from your freaking laptop.
I'm looking at North Face. I need a new jumper. I'm a fraud. No. I don't watch a lot of Impact Wrestling. I really, really don't. And I'm sorry to disappoint the absolute plethora of Impact Wrestling fans that we know we have watching this. I'm so sorry. Not sorry. Watch some decent wrestling, you arseholes. But the match I've seen, again, I don't know the names. I don't stay around for long enough to know the names. All I know is that, hang on, wikipedia.org.uk, right, okay. They've been in Ring of Honor, and that's about it. They've been PWG. All I can say is the matches I've seen them in Impact have been really, really good. It takes a lot for me to go on YouTube and actually look at the shit you're in. I'm sorry that if that insults some of you wrestlers. Again, I'm sorry if it whatever. I'm not sorry. What am I apologizing? Lucha Bros, Pentagon, Phoenix, amazing. I don't care what any of you say. They're amazing. God, been at the head of the tag team division in New Japan for quite a while now, as Lewis might confirm for me.
Yes, I can confirm.
Thank you for thank you for your confirmation. God, that was oddly formal. But yeah, I mean,
I'm just distracted because I'm pretty sure like the great big massive thunderstorm coming through, because I don't know if you can see this.
I just saw a flash of lightning, to be fair. So
reflection.
Thunderbolts of lightning, very, very frightening me.
Hey, you'd be surprised, right? I'm just turning the light off. I don't know whether you can see out that way. You see those? Ooh. See that flash of light?
Oh, hello, you dirty little finch. Oh, I don't know what came on.
I've just heard thunder down my end, so.
Hang on a minute. I'm just gonna go back to the old. Give me a minute.
I can hear it rumbling a little bit, but yeah, it's just great big massive flashes in the sky. It flashed. I do not believe you. So yeah, that was literally just like the last 10-15 minutes when I've been sort of like, like here. I've just been sort of like looking out at it.
The only thing that came to mind then was, I know who you are. Who are you?
I know who you are. Oh, I need to have a look at my freaking legends list because I'm tossing and turning over it a little bit. I've got one for definite, but the other one.
I've got my two, but I did change one of that was. I changed the second one.
So. Well, I've got one that's definitely a legend. It's just the other one. The other one could possibly be classed as a legend, but I'd look at it more as sort of like what he could bring in like a training aspect. Maybe. Because, like, obviously you can cut this out, but one of my legends that I went for was Dean Malenko. Just because I think he'd be really good as a trainer because his dad was a fucking amazing trainer.
Yeah.
But obviously, we'll save the recording bit. Do you want to just sort of like go on to the Legends bit, and then when Uncle gets back, or if he gets back,
he should get back. It's just he's sorting something out. So it's we'll crack on to the Legends part.
Edit.
Yeah. Miraculous.
Has he done his tag teams, or is he?
Just a suggestion.
Don't
would it be wise to go over best of the omissions, if you know what I mean?
He's
Like,
back.
The best we left out, i.e. Nick Aldis, who we couldn't give a fuck about. No,
How do you guys?
I just thought it'd be nice to go over the best of the rest.
Okay.
I can. Well, I sort of gave little bits from like the females and tag teams of just sort of like names I was considering, but couldn't really think of any. Like the only real big admission from the males list was Eli Drake, and that was only really sort of like sacrificed for MJF, just because I didn't really have enough heels on my roster. I felt it was a bit sort of like babyface heavy. That was literally that was really my only exemption from like the males list.
Can I volunteer to go last in the Legends?
Yeah. Well, Uncle, you've still got to give your tag teams, I think, mate.
Oh, yep. So my tag teams, FDR.
Yeah, buddy.
As I think everybody expected, really.
Yep.
And I've gone with the wild cards.
Ooh.
Just because I know they haven't. I know they're still relatively new as a team, so to speak. But I just see a ton of potential as a team and as singles competitors later on. So
I'd think more for Royce Isaacs than I would Tom Latimer, personally. But
yeah, I mean, but like we've discussed before, like Tom Latimer possibly being that guy that you build up to be to defraud, not so much, to eventually being that NWA champion. I mean, before we've muted it, you know what I mean? But I just think, I think they can be good, and the fresh, the new, so they made it onto my list. This is the one I'm going to get slated for. The Miz and John Morrison.
Oh, fuck off. Oh, fuck me. Oh, I'm a dick for Orange-Cassidy. Shit.
Now. Hear me out.
No.
I'm not looking at them as a long-term tag team. I'm looking at them as two singles competitors, one who's better than the other by probably some distance. But I'm looking at them, they've both been world champions elsewhere. And
well, Morrison has.
Well, The Miz has been a champion in the WWE.
Yeah, but it's nothing to shout about, really, is it?
No, I'm not suggesting it is, but I'm suggesting that when I come to splitting them up, that they are proven as singles competitors. And that's where I'm going.
Alex Riley.
To be honest with you, just sort of like, this is probably like a controversial view, but I think The Miz is one of the most overrated wrestlers to come through WWE in like the past decade. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a hell of a fucking heel promo. Yeah. I think that's all he's got. He's a shit baby face. Yeah, he doesn't add anything. Yeah. Doesn't add anything into, like, I get reminded of that, that Fatal 4-Way match where it was Miz, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Cesaro.
Yeah. Like,
literally, you take The Miz out of that match, and, well,
it change.
Nothing would change, because for me, he does not add anything, bar if he's a heel cutting a heel promo.
But then imagine an underneath jobber cutting that promo and then getting his ass kicked. Yeah, you're going to want to see that guy get his arse kicked. Yeah, because that's what you want. And if he has a bodyguard or whoever taking the bumps for him, and he never gets touched, 2 months down the line, the babyface finally gets his match with the Miz, who's been running his mouth, and wipes the floor with him.
He would have to wipe the floor with him, though. I don't want to see a competitive.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a competitive match.
Wipes the floor with him. You've made money, because that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
So that's the way I'm looking at that.
Right, okay.
And then you see, now I'm stuck between two now, because I had the North on my list, because like I said, every time I've seen them, I've been impressed. But then Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, man,
how could I
no
forgotten about them?
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful men.
How could you think? Because I
Well,
completely.
this is useless now. I may as well throw my list away. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Don't care anymore.
They've got to be on the list, and
I've still got mine in writing, so you know.
Throw it away. You may as well not use it.
That's my 4 tag teams in a nutshell. And I get it. I get why everybody hates Morrison and Miz, but I'm not looking at a long-term tag team.
If they entertain you, they entertain you, mate, and you know that's the whole purpose of us making these lists.
True.
Yeah. Right, final category. The legends.
Ooh, no.
Who wants to take the moniker? Who wants to open us up?
Not me.
I'll go first if you want.
Good.
Okay.
I'm going to get slated, but
Sure.
legend number 1, James E. Cornette. Manager, booker, writer, everything.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong.
How many listeners? Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Sort of like one of my favourite podcasts has been doing a lot of like 1993 onwards, like era. You know, that's sort of like mid 90s era, where sort of like Jim Cornette is the mouthpiece for Yokozuna, and he is fucking incredible. He's an incredible fucking mouthpiece, and I've no real issue with Jim Cornette being in there, provided whatever script he's reading from or whatever material he's delivering goes through the fucking mill twice over. Just to iron out the creases is what I'm going to say. You know, just iron out the creases here and there. Just make it, worthy.
Yeah.
Suitable to be broadcasting out on your promotion.
I understand what you're saying. I understand that, and I just think he's, to me, I love the guy, and he's a mind
for wrestling, and he's passionate about wrestling.
Exactly.
And that's what you want in your promotion.
Yeah, exactly. And my view of what they call a legend, I'm not talking guys that I want to get in the ring and have wrestle. Because the one thing that I don't actually like watching is when they go, guess who's coming back for another match? Hulk Hogan. Or guess who's coming back for another match? This old guy. I don't want to watch it, to be honest. It doesn't interest me. So I'm looking at them as mouthpieces, as people who I can stick them with some young talent, and they can progress that talent.
And that's changed one of my selections. You'll be amazed about which one it was as well.
Now, the second legend was where it got difficult for me. Because
you've not heard my second legend yet, so it's probably sort of like up for debate, really.
Because the first thing I do is I put down Kurt Angle. But that's because I love Kurt Angle. But then do I want to see this Kurt Angle now mumbling through promos? like he was doing when he was on Raw.
Well, to be honest with you, what does the legend role entail? Because I would look at sort of like...
Yeah, this is where I struggled.
Yeah.
Yeah, how I've done my list is just sort of like, I've done one that could be an on-air personality as well as helping out behind the scenes, and then I've done another one that would sort of like primarily be a behind-the-scenes kind of guy. But given his sort of like his experience and sort of like what he's done in his wrestling career, I think would definitely sort of like help my promotion. That's the way I've did it.
Yeah, you see, that's it. You know, are these guys on screen or are they behind the scenes and helping people out? You know, so you see, because I say this is kind of where I got a little bit like, what's going on? I'm a bit confused about this because then I picked Ric Flair. But then question myself that, okay, Ric Flair on screen cutting a promo, aces. Ric Flair in the back, running up bar tabs that he can't afford, and, and telling women he'll make a woman out of them. I'm a bit worried. So I settled on a man we all know as AXC.
You see, have faith in your fellow man.
I swear to fucking God.
The problem is I refuse to work with Jim Cornette, so I quit before I even start.
That's fine. That means I can make a real choice.
Such a dick.
No, I'm kidding. But if you refuse to work with Jim Cornette, I'm sorry. You know, Jim's got to be there.
You'll have to pick a different legend then, Uncle.
Oh my God.
But yeah, yeah, a confusing role.
I'll say. Right, I'll go next because somebody that Bunkle was thinking about for their legend role, I have picked as my number one, and that would be the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And I can't do it any louder than that because my mum's in bed asleep and she's up at crack of dawn to go to work.
Limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeler dealing, son of a cat.
I just think Ric Flair, like the fact I've got Nick Aldis on my roster, like can you imagine Ric Flair being in the corner of Nick Aldis and just doing like Ric Flairisms whenever things aren't going Aldis's way?
Wanking so heavily.
I am. I can feel my semi coming on.
It would be fucking incredible. Because like whenever Ric Flair, on-air personality, whether it was to manage sort of like Nick Aldis or MJF, or maybe even sort of like Ricky Starks, I think would be really cool. And then my second Legends pick is probably debatable. I wouldn't really have him as an on-screen guy who'd mainly be behind the scenes. I would either have him as an agent or I would have him as mainly in charge of my training, my wrestling school, and I've gone with Dean Malenko.
Oh, that's a good
nice.
One.
That's a good shout.
That's a beautiful one. Oh, yes, you dirty boy.
Just because he's...
Hello, you.
He's so technically efficient as when he was an in-ring worker. I think he'd be a great fucking agent in terms of match booking, match laying out. Plus, I think he'd be a fantastic trainer because his dad was a fantastic trainer. And I just think he'd be a real benefit sort of behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's a fantastic shout. I didn't even think about him. But yeah.
Well, neither did I, because like I originally had Arn Anderson down because like I'm a big Arn Anderson fan, and I think he's sort of like as the sort of like coach role for Cody. I think it's a very unique take on sort of like the manager role.
Yeah.
But then I was just like, that's when the sort of like the mind came, sort of like have one on screen, one off screen role, and that's the way I went about things.
Yeah.
That is my list.
I'll volunteer myself to go next. I recently crossed someone out because someone decided to have a fucking concert in the middle of a global pandemic. So I crossed this person out and replaced them with Jake the Snake Roberts.
Good promo guy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
He is, in terms of heel work, one of the best. Intimidating, sort of like creepily, what the fuck you doing, pal, sort of thing. Just back up. Very intimidating. Works very, very well with what he's doing at the minute. And then I came to a sort of crossroads with, because I thought I've got a heel legend. I need a babyface legend. And I'm looking at, I've got two names on my pad that I got from Zavvi.com, who do a Z-Box every month for $16.99.
Don't give them free advertising.
I'll give them free advertising. They fucking give me free stuff. I will fucking give me free stuff. Bastards. Fucking plug them. They'll fucking love us. I've got two names. I'm still undecided. I'm going to throw the two names out there because I'm so undecided. It's unreal. If I was going to put them in order, Yushin Thunder Liger.
Ooh.
I nearly picked him, to be fair.
And the Great Muta. And I'm thinking before you say anything, I'm thinking in terms of a managerial role, a promo, not in the terms of a wrestling role at all.
No, quite ironic because like Arn Anderson I considered, and I was actually thinking Jushin Thunder Liger as well, because I think he would be sort of like, Christ almighty, it's proper shocking it down here. Sorry. It's really fucking coming down now. Those flashes of light have definitely fucking opened up the heavens. I considered sort of like Jushin Thunder for my Dean Malenko role.
Yeah,
but I went with Dean Malenko. So I would understand Liger.
Yeah, I like Jake the Snake for the heel. That I've sort of picked one heel legend and one babyface legend. And in terms of babyface, what wrestling community in the world is not going to pop off for the Great Muta or Yushin Thunder Liger? Your guess is as good as mine. Put them in any arena in the world, any bingo hall, any theatre, any wrestling fan is going to go fucking masses for them two blokes. I'm still undecided. I'm still undecided. Who do I go with? Muta or Liger? If you're gonna twist my arm and you're gonna absolutely clamp me bollocks, I'm gonna go with Liger.
That's who I go for.
Yeah,
that's
Liger.
who I go for. For me, personally. Okay, AXC. Last up.
Yeah. So my first one, I'm literally going to play a quick clip to give you a hint of who it'd be. Not the hint I was going for, but
I don't know, Shockmaster.
Glass shattering, Steve Austin in it.
Yeah. Austin.
You see, I thought about Austin, but then I'd just be sort of like, I'd have a feeling that he'd overshadow my current talent on my roster, which is the problem that WWE go with. But the thing is, if you can get fucking Austin in, he would be so fucking huge. He would be fucking huge acquisition.
Yeah. People come just to see him walk out and then leave.
Yeah.
You know.
Would that be a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I mean, if you're getting butts in seats because people want to see Austin walk out, stun a couple of people, drink some brewskis, and then go home, that should go home to the show.
Yeah, but I can do that. So what's the fucking special thing in that?
Because it's
Steve Austin.
Yeah, well, I'm bald. I've got a goatee. I can do it.
Yeah, but
what's the difference? Yeah, but,
because it's still fucking Austin.
I will
and
say,
plus,
taking the piss.
No, I know. But I'd have more confidence that you would be able to get your roster to such an extent that you would think sort of like, oh my God, Steve Austin's like, oh, but the rest of these guys, they'll be nowhere near as big, because just the way said company is booked. Whereas I think you probably would have more nous of, making your roster matter.
I will say this about Steve Austin. Would WWE have been as successful, would have won the war, or whatever however you want to put it, if they didn't let Stone Cold be Stone Cold?
No.
How much of that? We talk about the Attitude Era as a big launching point in wrestling. How much of that was WWE, and how much of that was Stone Cold? How much of that was Mr. McMahon? How much of that was The Rock? How much of that was, you know what I'm getting at, was The Undertaker? How much of that was Kane? How much of that was all the performers? I'm going a bit off topic, but when does the promotion stop being the promotion and the wrestlers start being who they are in terms of, look what I can do on a global platform, rather than, oh, look, they put me on a global platform, look what I can do? Is that what WWE have been, were in Warzone or in the Attitude Era? I only put that question out because it really makes you think. If you look at what The Rock was before the Attitude Era, not very impressive. Well, I'm not going to say not very impressive. I'm not going to say he wouldn't have been what he was. How much of that Attitude Era, how much of that prime WWE era was WWE, and how much of that was the wrestlers themselves doing it?
I think one needed the other.
Yeah.
One needed the other. I mean, go on, sorry, Lewis.
No, I think as well, sort of like, to add to your point, one needed the other. I think there was more of a creative freedom back then. So somebody like a Steve Austin has been given this, ringmaster gimmick. We're making the master of the ring, pal. So $1 million pal, $1 million man, and $1 million belts. And literally, Austin just sort of like goes, it's like, yeah, I'm not really sort of, comfortable with this, wearing the green trunks, can you sort of like go in this direction a little bit more? And they sort of like, give you a list of names. You're sort of like, yeah, I don't really like that. And they're sort of like, that's when they sort of like look to you as sort of like, okay, can you come up with anything that'll work? And the age old Stone Cold story of being sort of like, sat having like a cup of tea with his English wife at the time, and his wife just went to him and was just sort of like, oh, you better get that drunk up before it goes stone cold. And he's literally just sort of like, light bulb pop up. So I think it's sort of like a 50-50. I think like, because particularly nowadays it's like a case of, this is your gimmick, this is what you're going with. And I think to a certain extent, you don't have the people in the company that will just be there to go, no. I think that they will just literally go along with it because they've got a job, they're worried about job security, and it's a paycheck.
Yeah. On top of that, how long do you think that the wrestlers that we talked about, like the likes of Adam Cole, the likes of Keith Lee, how long can they last being told what to do? Being told this is what you're going to say. Being told this is what you're going to do on a Monday night or a Friday night or Wednesday night or whatever. At what point is doing Endgame? At what point is doing Endgame? It's interesting to see that AEW are coming out and saying, "Oh, we're letting our talents do what they want," and NWA, we're letting them do what they want. Where's doing Endgame in WWE? That's why
I don't necessarily think NWA were allowing their talent to do whatever they want. I think NWA, they're allowing them to cut promos that they want. They're not scripting your promos. I think WWE are obviously scripting everything, and it's not for everybody. Somebody like, you look at a bad example, but Alberto Del Rio. In the WWE, when he was cutting a scripted promo, when he first showed up, it worked. And then somebody said, oh no, you can go and be yourself. And he's a raving lunatic. Do you know what I mean? It depends who you are. Like you take...
If you're a raving lunatic, don't fucking give gimmicks. Don't write your own promos. Fuck's sake.
It's not just don't write your own promos. I mean, obviously you had further problems going on, but you look at somebody like The Miz. The Miz, as we've just discussed, as Lewis was saying, great heel promo. I don't think he'd be that good if he was left on his own. I really don't.
Thanks.
Cutting a promo. It's just an example that I'm pulling from earlier on. Yeah.
MJF, I believe, could write his own promos.
I won't be shocked if he did, because he's fantastic.
But the Miz, the Miz, I might have doubts over, but I could believe if he did write him himself.
But that's it. There's a difference in the talent is treated differently because Vince, I think, sees it differently. Vince saw Stone Cold Steve Austin cut a promo, and they thought, right, we'll hire him. That's what attracted the WWE to him. Yeah, because he was cutting promos on ECW TV about WCW. But that's not what people look at anymore.
Nope.
The Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, great promo. But I don't think he'd be as good if he was on his own.
Plus, he's not 6 foot tall, as he claims to be.
Oi, hang on a minute. Yeah. I'm the same size as it. If he's 6 foot tall, I'm 6 foot tall as well. So let's just fucking put an end to it. I'm 6 foot tall. We're done.
You're 6 foot tall, and so is your wife.
It doesn't
Why?
Yeah, Coxy says.
Have you not got children in your house, Andy?
Oh, sure. No, the ads this week.
See, right.
Saturday.
Okay.
However, they'll pleasantly know that. Well, I know one of them listens to these podcasts that I put out, and so does all of his school friends.
Jesus Christ.
So I just hope he knows that his mum is a Finn Balor lover, likes orange-cassidy. I'm absolutely terrified of what I'm going to say next. Oh God, there's a. I just said. Whoa! I'll let you speak. I just said that, and literally a massive thunder just like echoed outside my house. I am. You know what? You're not getting anything out of me because I'm taking that as a sign from God as to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So essentially, continued on. My number 2 is Arn Anderson.
We don't care. Natural disasters are happening outside. We don't care what you were doing.
I think we all know what Andy's going to be dealing with tomorrow morning. Big, massive sore head.
What did divorces cost? Everything.
We're not Google.
Everything.
Someone set up a Twitter and Dark Googling. How much does divorce cost?
Let's not set up anything about me twittering and my name. Please don't. Because God knows what it might dig up. For those of you listening who know me before, you know I'm an arsehole, so just literally nothing you can say that can make these guys think I'm more of an arsehole than I already am. So...
Yeah. Right. We've all covered our lists, haven't we?
Yes, we've all done our list.
Beautiful. Yep. So I think we'll wrap it up there then.
Yeah, mine's best. Upgrade. I'm the master of the lists. Can I please be the master of the list and not the master of the boys? Please.
No. You were given this moniker, pal. You will stick with it.
I'm not an Avenger. I don't need this sort of pressure on me. Please.
Right. Plug time.
Yeah, I'll plug away. Obviously, if you're listening to this show on the podcast feed, you can also go back and listen to our Lost Art of WrestleBox lockdown reviews, where we'll be reviewing great many shows from New Japan Pro Wrestling and the National Wrestling Alliance. Just search for them in this particular podcast feed here. I've also started Twitch streaming, Twitch game streaming, I should probably say. I recently started a Let's Play series on the Yakuza Remaster Collection that I got recently. So if you go to twitch.tv/loggers109, I stream when I can, just because everything's up in the air with work at the moment. So yeah, just make sure that you followed on that Twitch account, and also click the little notification bell to just get notified whenever I go live on Twitch.
Cool.
Yeah, as usual, if you've enjoyed hearing my voice as much as I enjoy hearing my own voice, you can find me on the Gunpowder Treason No Plot podcast, where I play the Dragonborn Paladin Rogar. And yeah, that's me, Billy the Boy Bunkle.
Or is it my turn? Oh, right, okay. Oh, shit. Follow my boys at twin_thing_1 and twin_king_2. Follow me on Instagram at the real Not Daz. Follow me on TikTok. I am at the annoying husband. I am a hilariously annoying husband, as my wife will surely shout and scream at you all in a minute. No, she's sleeping. Right, okay. I think that's it for me. Yeah, I've got nothing.
And of course, you can follow the Lost Art of Wrestling on Facebook, on Twitter at LAOW Podcast. You can find our sister pods, the Phoenix Pod and the Lost Art Podcasting on Facebook, on Instagram, Lost Art Podcasting, and on Twitter at Lost Art Podcast. Have I forgotten anything else? No, I think that's it.
All right, Goldust.
Well, for the Lost Art of Wrestling, I've been AXC.
I've been Billy the Boy Bungle.
I've been the Stowaway Lewis Ogden.
I've been the real Not Daz Anthony Dark, the master of boys.
And you've been listening. Thanks very much.
Woohoo!
Bye.